What if Goku became a god of destruction? What fate awaits our hero, and how would it change the entire Dragon Ball Super story? This story comes from the manga series Dragon Ball Hakai. So if you're curious to know how everything unfolds, stick around, because we're about to get started. But before anything else, make sure to hit that like button so we'll be more motivated to keep creating this kind of content for you. Now, let's go back a bit. After Moro escaped from the Galactic Patrol Prison, we all remember the massive chaos he brought across Universe 7. His power was so overwhelming that it threatened the balance of the entire universe. But thankfully, Goku and the others managed to stop him and finally bring him down. Peace returned, at least for a short while. Just a few days after Moro's defeat, something unexpected happened. Two mysterious mortals suddenly appeared in Universe 7, and they weren't ordinary people. They came from another universe entirely. One of them was a man named Anzen, and with him was his loyal follower. As they arrived, his follower immediately noticed that Anzen looked troubled and asked him if he was all right. Anzen simply replied that he was fine, but it was clear something was wrong. From the way they moved and the tension in their expressions, it looked like the two of them were being chased. And not just by anyone. They were being pursued by a dangerous and mysterious mortal who also came from another universe. Anzen knew it was only a matter of time before their pursuer arrived. His follower, on the other hand, was confused. He admitted that he didn't understand why the guards from their world had suddenly become so violent. He said that those guards had slaughtered everyone in their path, even their own comrades. The brutality shocked him. But Anzen had a different thought. He paused for a moment, then said that maybe this wasn't random at all. Maybe everything that happened, the guards' sudden rage, the massacre, and their easy defeat, was part of a bigger plan. It was as if someone had orchestrated the whole thing, making it simple to wipe out even those powerful guards. At this critical moment, Anzen's follower quickly handed him a strange-looking cube. With a serious tone, he told his master, "Go on ahead, master. If you fall here, our mission will surely fail. I'll stay behind and deal with that demon myself." Without wasting time, Anzen took the cube and flew away at full speed. His follower, meanwhile, stood his ground, ready to face the approaching threat. But it didn't take long before he sensed it. The presence of the demon had already arrived, much sooner than expected. Shock flashed across his face, but he wasted no time. He gathered his energy and launched a powerful wave blast, causing a massive explosion that shook the battlefield. For a brief moment, it looked as though he had landed a solid strike. But before he could react, the demon appeared behind him in an instant. With terrifying speed, it unleashed a direct attack that struck him right in the back. The impact was devastating. So devastating that Anzen's loyal follower was killed on the spot. Meanwhile, the scene shifted back to Anzen, who was still flying as fast as he could. While moving forward, he suddenly spotted a gigantic door floating before him. Without hesitation, he rushed to it and managed to force it open, quickly slipping inside. Once inside, Anzen paused, realizing what he had to do. He turned back and shut the door behind him, hoping that this would finally stop the demon from pursuing him further. He succeeded in sealing the door shut. But something wasn't right. A strange presence had still managed to slip through. Anzen felt it immediately. He spun around, and before he could react, a powerful blow smashed directly into his face, sending him crashing violently across the chamber. The sheer force of the strike sent him flying far back. Breathing heavily, Anzen muttered in shock, "What was that? What am I supposed to do now?" It was then that his eyes caught sight of something unusual. A massive cube standing in the center of the room. In the middle of this cube was a square-shaped hole. In that instant, Anzen realized what it meant. He needed to place the energy of the Zillion box into that square slot to restore its power. But there was no time to waste. As he prepared to act, the demon that had been chasing him appeared once again, standing tall and menacing before him. Its intent was clear. It was determined to stop him at all costs. At this moment, Anzen prepared himself for a final stand. His body erupted with a massive surge of Kai, his aura flaring with incredible intensity. He knew what was at stake. The fate of the entire universe depended on him. Clutching the strange cube tightly, he whispered to himself that no matter what happens, he must succeed in placing this energy core, this battery, into the cube. Only then could the safety of the entire universe be secured. With determination burning in his eyes, Anzen shouted, "This is the duty of the leader of the Celestial Guardians." Then, in a flash, he charged straight at the demon with everything he had. His strike cut through the enemy, and for a brief second, he thought he had won. But the demon's body dissolved into nothing but smoke. It was only an illusion. Before Anzen could realize what had happened, a sudden, invisible force struck him hard in the chest. He gasped in pain and dropped to his knees. And as he looked up, the demon was already standing right behind him, its presence looming like death itself. Through his labored breathing, Anzen spoke defiantly, "You may have won this battle, but you will not win the war." Summoning the last of his strength, he struck the demon once more and sprinted toward the cube. He was so close, just a few steps away from sealing the energy inside. But before he could finish, the demon unleashed a brutal attack from behind. The blow was devastating, sending shockwaves through his body. Blood spilled as Anzen collapsed to the ground, his vision fading. The cube was snatched away, successfully extracted by the demons. With his final breaths, sorrow was etched on Anzen's face. He whispered in regret, I've failed." And then, darkness consumed him. Meanwhile, the scene shifts light years away to planet Beerus, where Goku and Vegeta were in the middle of intense training. The two Saiyans were locked in a fierce sparring match, their blows shaking the very ground beneath them. Neither of them showed any sign of backing down. Vegeta unleashed a flurry of rapid attacks, but Goku effortlessly dodged each strike with a calm smile. Suddenly, Goku leapt back, creating distance between them. "What's wrong, Kakarot?" Vegeta growled. Goku smirked and replied, "Tell me, Vegeta, do you already know the weakness of your new technique?" Vegeta scoffed confidently. "Of course, your Kaioken combined with Super Saiyan Blue. It drains your stamina and energy too fast, doesn't it?" Without waiting for Goku's answer, Vegeta lunged forward with blinding speed and landed a crushing blow, sending Goku flying across the battlefield. From the sidelines, Whis calmly observed the fight. "Vegeta has quickly mastered the full potential of Super Saiyan Blue," he remarked, while Goku still struggles to control it. Just then, Whis received a call from the Grand Priest. His voice carried authority. "Whis, there will be a general meeting for all gods of destruction and their angels. Bring Goku and Vegeta with you." But even as this message reached Whis, the two Saiyans continued their battle. This time, Goku was visibly struggling to keep up. Vegeta's blows were overwhelming, and Goku was nearing his limit. "Use your full power, Kakarot," Vegeta demanded. "If you don't, you'll never keep up with me." Goku hesitated. Deep down, he didn't want to rely on his Ultra Instinct yet. It was risky and draining. But Vegeta's persistence left him no choice. Closing his eyes for a moment, Goku released his full power. His silver aura burst forth, the unmistakable sign of Ultra Instinct. "This is my full strength," Goku declared. "But tell me, Vegeta, can you use that God of Destruction technique Lord Beerus taught you?" Vegeta clenched his fists and replied, "Not yet. I haven't mastered that technique, so for now I can't show it to you." Even so, his energy flared. Vegeta's aura exploded outward, his power skyrocketing. "No more holding back, Kakarot. Let's finish this." The two clashed again, their strikes colliding with earth-shaking force. Meanwhile, Beerus finally awoke from his slumber. He immediately sensed their battle and frowned. "Those two are at it again. Where are they now? If they want to fight so badly, they should just fight me instead." At that exact moment, Vegeta was knocked back by a heavy blow, his body crashing right near Beerus' location. As Vegeta crashed near Beerus, Goku landed on the ground, his eyes locking directly onto the God of Destruction. Beerus stood tall, arms crossed, his expression shifting into a smirk. "Well then," Beerus said, "why don't you two stop fooling around and fight me instead?" The challenge was clear, and Goku's face lit up with excitement. Without a moment's hesitation, he shouted back, "All right then, Beerus, let's do this." In the next second, Goku launched himself forward, and Beerus did the same. But just as their blows were about to connect, everything froze. With nothing more than a single finger, Whis effortlessly stopped both fighters in their tracks. The sheer ease with which he halted them left Beerus and Goku both stunned. Annoyed, Beerus growled, "Whis, what do you think you're doing?" Goku, equally frustrated, protested, "Yeah, Whis! Don't get in the way." Whis, however, remained calm as ever. "Forgive me for interfering," he said, "but there is no time to waste. The Grand Priest has summoned a meeting. one that requires the presence of every god of destruction and every angel. And he specifically requested that you, Goku, and you as well, Vegeta, attend. Beerus narrowed his eyes. What? Why them? What does this meeting have to do with mortals like these two? Whis' expression grew slightly more serious as he answered. That depends on the termination announcement. The words hit Beerus like thunder. His pupils shrank in shock. Termination? He muttered. Goku tilted his head in confusion, scratching the back of his hair. Termination meeting? What's that supposed to mean? With a grave tone, Whis explained, a termination meeting is an extremely rare council. It is during this gathering that the Grand Priest oversees the replacement or removal of a god of destruction. In other words, this is the meeting where a new god of destruction may be chosen. As Whis' words sank in, silence filled the air. But the biggest shock came to Goku. His eyes widened, his heart racing at the thought. Wait, are you saying one of us might be chosen to become the next god of destruction? Goku asked, his voice filled with disbelief. First panel takes us to Zeno's palace, where all the angels and the gods of destruction from every universe are already gathered. And at this moment, Whis arrived together with Goku at the location where the termination meeting was about to take place. Both Zenos are very happy to see Goku and immediately greet him, which Goku responds to in his usual casual way. Because of Goku's informal behavior, everyone in the room, the angels and the gods of destruction, are shocked. Goku then whispers to Vegeta, asking why everyone looks so angry at them. Vegeta quickly scolds him, telling him that he's being ignorant again, and that he should stay quiet before he makes the situation worse. Meanwhile, Beerus is visibly annoyed at Goku, saying that he isn't showing proper respect to the higher beings in the room. At this point, the meeting officially begins. The Grand Priest instructs all candidates to remain where they are, while the mentors can leave the center of the room. Then, the Grand Priest begins his speech. He explains that the reason for this gathering is something that their mentors may have already told them. It is called the Termination Announcement. This announcement is about selecting a new god of destruction who will take the place of a former one. And shockingly, the mortals chosen as candidates for this divine position are none other than Goku and Vegeta. Hearing this, Goku is surprised and questions why they were chosen. He argues that there are others who are far stronger, like Jiren or Toppo. The Grand Priest then calmly responds, explaining that the choice is not only about strength. He reminds everyone that Goku is the only mortal in existence who is currently training directly under an angel, which is one of the main requirements to even be considered as a god of destruction candidate. As for Jiren, the Grand Priest acknowledges his incredible power, but also points out that Jiren's training has always been with gods or angels in the past, which is different from Goku's unique situation. Meanwhile, Toppo was also preparing himself to eventually replace Belmod as the next god of destruction of Universe 11. After hearing the Grand Priest's explanation, Goku still didn't fully understand what was going on. Vegeta, however, spoke up. He admitted that he never really had any intention of becoming a god of destruction. But if this was the only way for him to continue his training under Whis, then he was willing to accept it. Hearing this, the Grand Priest was pleased. The Grand Priest then called on Whis, asking him to summon the two Zenos so they could personally meet the two mortals who were candidates to become the next god of destruction. But before that could happen, Whis interrupted, saying he had something important to add about Goku. Whis explained that Goku was indeed one of the strongest warriors in existence. In fact, he had achieved true mastery of Ultra Instinct, something not even the current gods of destruction were capable of doing. However, Whis pointed out a critical flaw. Goku's personality did not suit the responsibilities of a god of destruction. Hearing this, Goku became embarrassed and scratched his head in his usual awkward way. Whis then continued, this time talking about Vegeta. Unlike Goku, Vegeta didn't possess Ultra Instinct. But recently, he had been training in the techniques of Hakai, the power of destruction itself. Not only that, Vegeta was also a serious and disciplined warrior. Unlike Goku, who often acted carefree, Vegeta always thought carefully before making a move. Because of this, Whis believed Vegeta was actually more fit for the role of god of destruction. After hearing this compliment, Vegeta smirked at Goku, bragging that he was clearly the better choice. At this point, the Grand Priest announced that based on Whis' observations, a vote would now be held among all the angels and gods of destruction. The results of this vote would determine which mortal was most suitable for the position. However, he reminded everyone that the final decision would still come from Zunou himself. And so, the voting began. The result was overwhelming, 24-0 in favor of Vegeta. Every single angel and god of destruction agreed that Vegeta should take on the role. This made Vegeta proud as he turned to Goku, bragging once again that he was now officially the new god of destruction. The Grand Priest then formally informed the two Xenos that Vegeta was the best candidate, but surprisingly, Zunou did not agree. Instead, Zunou chose Goku as the next god of destruction. This shocking twist stunned everyone present. The Grand Priest clarified that he had nothing to do with Xenou's decision, since the role of god of destruction was entirely about destruction. But Goku then asked if it was possible to become a good god of destruction, someone who doesn't need to kill or destroy planets unnecessarily. Vegeta, frustrated with the results, spoke up and said that the whole thing was nonsense. He believed the only reason Zunou chose Goku was because they were friends. Hearing this, Beerus became extremely annoyed with Vegeta's attitude. At that moment, Goku asked where he would even be assigned as a god of destruction. The Grand Priest explained that out of the 12 gods of destruction, only 4 were actually doing a good job: Arak, Jin, Liquier, and Iwan. The others had been neglecting their duties. This statement shocked all the gods of destruction who weren't mentioned. The Grand Priest then continued and revealed that, after long consideration, they had decided that Champa would be removed from his position as god of destruction. Champa and his Kaioshin assistant were immediately called to the center. The Grand Priest explained that Champa had neglected Universe 6 and even attempted to use the Super Dragon Balls for selfish reasons. Because of these violations, he would be stripped of his divinity. Champa sighed, saying he already knew this would eventually happen, but asked what the next step would be. The Grand Priest replied that once his divinity was removed, Champa would no longer be immortal. He would live as a normal mortal. He could then choose any planet in Universe 6 to live on. Champa requested Earth, but his Kaioshin would also share the same fate, losing immortality and living as a mortal. At that moment, Zunou personally removed Champa's divinity. The Grand Priest then ordered Vados to return Champa safely to Universe 6, which she agreed to. Before leaving, Vados told Champa that this would be their last time together, which only annoyed Champa. After this, Vados and the group quickly departed. With Champa gone, the Grand Priest declared that Goku would now officially become a god of destruction. However, the transformation process would take 3 Earth days. Since it would take time, all the gods and angels were dismissed back to their universes. Once they left, the two Xenos happily approached Goku, wanting to play with him. But Goku explained that since he had been chosen as a god of destruction, he had important responsibilities to handle first. The Xenos agreed, saying it was fine since Goku would become immortal anyway and would have plenty of time to play with them in the future. Goku then returned to Earth together with Whis. Back on Earth, the scene shifted to Bulma's place, where Bulma, Chi-Chi, and Trunks were already gathered. Goku was surprised to see Chi-Chi there. It turned out Chi-Chi was planning a homecoming party for Goku, but she didn't expect him to return so soon. Beerus also announced that he would be joining the party, shocking Bulma, who immediately asked if something bad had happened. Chi-Chi was also surprised, saying they weren't ready for Goku's sudden arrival. Goku then smiled and told Chi-Chi that he had been chosen as a god of destruction and would soon be assigned to another universe. Hearing this, Chi-Chi fainted from shock. But Bulma quickly organized an emergency party at Capsule Corporation, where the Z-Warriors gathered to celebrate. During the party, Goku admitted to Chi-Chi that he never truly wanted to be a god of destruction. It was supposed to be Vegeta's role, but Zunou had chosen him instead. Bulma then asked why he didn't refuse the position if he didn't want it. Goku answered that if he refused, he would never know what was happening outside their universe. Chi-Chi surprisingly accepted Goku's new role, saying that at least he finally had a real job and that this was more fitting for him than just staying on Earth. Gohan then added that he was glad his mother accepted the decision, but he personally doubted if his father could handle such a difficult role. Beerus agreed with Gohan, saying Goku wasn't fit to be a god of destruction and that Vegeta was the better choice. But since Zeno made the final decision, none of them had a say in it. Trunks then jokingly asked if this meant Vegeta lost to Goku again. This irritated Vegeta, who scolded his son and warned him to stay quiet unless he wanted to be grounded. As the conversation continued, Bulma reminded Goku that, as a god of destruction, his duties would involve destroying planets and even killing mortals. Goku responded that he was aware of this since the Grand Priest had already told him, but he wanted to avoid those responsibilities as much as possible. Gohan then asked if Goku would now have a Supreme Kai partner, since every god of destruction is linked to one. Goku admitted he didn't know, but explained that when Champa lost his divinity, his Kaioshin also became mortal. This meant he might not get a partner at all. One of the Kais present then explained that a god of destruction and a Supreme Kai are always connected by life force. Since Champa lost his power, his Kaioshin suffered the same fate. That's why, by tomorrow, after a ritual, Goku would be given his own Supreme Kai. Goku asked how a new Kai would be chosen. The Kaioshin explained that in this case they would use the Kaiju Tree of Universe 6, which bore rare golden fruits that could give birth to new Supreme Kais. Vegeta reacted in disbelief, repeating, "Kaiju Tree?" The Kaioshin elaborated further, saying that most Kais were born from common fruits, but only the rare golden fruit could produce a Supreme Kai. That was where he himself had come from. Trunks was shocked and asked if this meant Kais were literally born from fruit. Goten then innocently asked his mother if that meant he was also born from fruit. Whis joked that it was possible, but Chi-Chi quickly shouted at him not to explain such things to the children. Everyone laughed, while Goku asked what would happen if a fruit turned rotten. The Kaioshin explained that such beings would end up in the demon realm, like Dabura. This revelation shocked Goku and the others. Soon, Beerus stood up and announced that the party was over, and it was time to leave. Chi-Chi, worried, asked if Goku would still be able to visit Earth once he became a god of destruction. Whis explained that normally Goku wouldn't be allowed, but because of his unique case, it would depend on Lord Beerus. Beerus coldly replied that he didn't care. Goten then asked if he could go with his father to train. Whis said it wasn't possible since Goku would be stationed in another universe. Goku then promised Goten that if he trained hard and reached his true potential, he would personally train him once he returned. Before leaving, Goku's family and friends bid him farewell, knowing this would be his long absence from Earth. Vegeta then stepped forward and reminded Goku that even though he was now a god of destruction, their rivalry was far from over. Goku simply smiled at him, and then he, Whis, and the others departed quickly from Earth. The very first scene shows Goku and his companions arriving on Champa's planet. Goku immediately notices something strange. This world looks almost identical to Lord Beerus's planet. Curious, he points it out, and Beerus simply explains that all planets belonging to gods of destruction are designed to look the same. As they were talking, Angel Vados appeared before them. She welcomed everyone, but her words were especially directed at Goku, whom she now respectfully addressed as Lord Goku. Beerus, however, was more concerned about food. He asked if Champa had left anything to eat behind. Goku laughed a bit, teasing Beerus for always thinking about food, while the Kaioshin reminded him that he had already eaten plenty back on Earth. But Vados quickly interrupted, apologizing and explaining that there was no time to look for food, because the ritual was about to begin. This revelation surprised Goku, who hadn't realized that everyone was already prepared. Soon after, they were led into a massive cave. As they walked inside, Goku felt a strange heaviness in the atmosphere. He looked uneasy, and Vados immediately noticed. She asked why he seemed sad. Goku admitted that the place felt gloomy, and he wasn't sure if he could ever live there. Vados gently reassured him. She told Goku there was no reason to feel downhearted. After all, he was about to become a god of destruction. This place wasn't ordinary. It was a sacred realm, connected to countless worlds, and only someone like him could set foot here. She also hinted that Goku had many tasks waiting for him, and that she herself would give him a very special kind of training. Hearing this immediately lifted Goku's spirits, and with a smile, he said this was exactly what he wanted. As they continued deeper, a gigantic door came into view, slowly creaking open. Inside, Goku saw a grand gathering of gods, angels, and even the Grand Priest himself. Everyone carried a serious expression, which made Goku wonder if they were late for the ritual. But Vados explained that the tension was natural, it was part of the ceremony. In fact, she added, they were actually 2 minutes early. Looking around, Goku suddenly realized someone was missing, Lord Zunou. Confused, he asked where the Omni King was, and whether he wasn't attending the ritual. Beerus casually answered that Zunou wouldn't be coming. To him, events like this were boring, and if Beerus had a choice, he wouldn't want to attend either. As Goku's eyes wandered, he noticed 3 statues nearby. Curious, he asked Vados what they were for. She explained that these were the statues of the former gods of destruction of Universe 6, and among them was Champa himself. This shocked Goku, who hadn't realized that the position of God of Destruction had been passed down many times before. Vados then revealed something even more serious. She explained that every God of Destruction eventually faces termination if they fail to fulfill their duties properly. Some even lose their lives entirely. Goku was stunned, asking if that really meant their lives could be ended so abruptly. Beerus added to the conversation, saying that while gods of destruction are extremely powerful, they are far from being the strongest beings in the multiverse. Countless warriors exist across all universes, and many of them surpass even the power of a destroyer. Vados then told Goku that once his training begins, the very first lesson she would teach him would be the history of the former gods of destruction of Universe 6. For now, what he needed to know was simple. The 3 statues he saw represented the past destroyers, and he was now the 4th. Beerus stepped in again, explaining that the reign of a god of destruction isn't like any ordinary position. Their rule can last millions of years, sometimes stretching across entire millennia before a successor is chosen. Goku fell into deep thought, realizing just how long and heavy this responsibility truly was. At this moment, the Grand Priest finally spoke and announced that it was time to begin the sacred ritual to appoint the new god of destruction. The angels immediately prepared everything needed for the ceremony, and Goku was asked to sit down beside the mysterious golden fruit, which would play a key role in the ritual. Curious, Goku pointed at it and asked, "Wait, is that the golden fruit?" The Grand Priest confirmed, explaining that this fruit would give birth to the new Supreme Kai of Universe 6. With this, Goku finally understood the meaning behind its presence. The Grand Priest then instructed Goku to clear his mind completely, removing all thoughts and emotions, and empty himself before the ritual began. Goku followed without hesitation, and the ceremony soon commenced. Within moments, the transformation was complete. Goku had officially become the new god of destruction, and at the same time, a new Supreme Kai was born. Surprised, Goku looked around and said, "That's it? The ritual's already over? I didn't even feel anything unusual." But his attention was quickly caught by the sudden presence of the new Supreme Kai. Goku was startled, asking how he hadn't noticed her arrive. The Kai responded calmly, saying she had simply been quiet with her eyes closed. What shocked Goku more was discovering that the new Supreme Kai appeared as a woman. She introduced herself as Leah, clarifying that Supreme Kais actually have no gender, but most of the time, their appearance tends to be female. Goku then politely introduced himself as well, telling her, "I'm Goku." The Grand Priest interrupted, reminding them that from this day onward, their lives would be linked together. A god of destruction and a Supreme Kai are 2 halves of the same balance, destruction and creation, and both must support each other for the sake of their universe. He emphasized that Goku and Leah's teamwork would be crucial in maintaining order in Universe 6. Goku then asked a personal question, admitting he wasn't sure if his body had changed after the ritual. The Grand Priest reassured him, saying the process was successful and that the effects would reveal themselves over time. For now, nothing would feel different, except for one permanent change. Goku's aging had completely stopped due to the divine power flowing within him. Angel Vados yelled, commenting that Goku looked great in his new uniform as the god of destruction. The Grand Priest then formally declared the ritual complete, asking everyone present, the gods and angels, to give their greetings and respect to the new god of destruction and the new Supreme Kai. They all bowed in acknowledgement. He then added that from now on, every mission Goku and Lia would take on must be done together, for the sake of preserving the perfect balance between destruction and creation in Universe 6. Both Goku and Lia agreed wholeheartedly. Finally, the Grand Priest dismissed the gathering, allowing the other gods and angels to return to their respective universes. But before leaving, Whis approached Goku and asked if he felt any different yet. Goku admitted that while he didn't feel much at the moment, he could sense a strange new energy flowing inside his body. Whis explained that what Goku felt was likely the energy of destruction, a unique divine power now residing within him. Goku, surprised, asked if it was the same thing as Hakai. Vados clarified that although they seem similar, Hakai is simply a technique for erasing, while the energy of destruction is far greater and deeper in nature. It's something Goku would gradually learn to master in time. Excited, Goku grinned and said, "I see. I can't wait to learn all of this. Lord Beerus, I promise, I'll do everything I can to become a strong god of destruction. And once that happens, we'll have a rematch." Beerus smirked, shaking his head. "Look at you, Goku. You're already losing yourself in this role." With that, Beerus and the others departed, leaving Goku ready to face the responsibilities of his new divine position. At this point, everyone began thinking about what to do next. Vados suggested that they should first focus on finishing the tasks that Champa had left behind. This, she explained, would keep things fair and ensure that Universe 6 didn't fall into disorder. She also added that Goku needed to start learning his new techniques soon, so that by the time they traveled to the sacred planet, he would already understand the responsibilities and duties of a true god of destruction. To prepare Lia, Vados summoned Lord Kiburo, who would personally guide her in her new role as the Supreme Kai. From here, Lia would stay with Kiburo to begin her training, and the two quickly departed to start their lessons. Goku, on the other hand, spoke up, admitting that he wasn't comfortable with the clothes he was wearing. Hearing this, Vados immediately adjusted his attire, giving him a proper outfit more fitting for his position. She then mentioned that it was time for them to begin training. But Goku had other plans. He confessed that he was already tired from the ritual earlier and wanted to rest first. Vados allowed it but teased him by saying, "That's fine, but if you rest now, you'll probably wake up after 37 years. Goku's eyes widened in shock. He exclaimed, "What? 37 years?" He then laughed nervously and said that at this rate, he'd end up just like Beerus, who's famous for sleeping for decades at a time. The scene then shifted to Beerus's planet, where Beerus and Whis were having their own private discussion. They were calmly talking about what to do next, but Beerus couldn't get Goku out of his mind. He turned to Whis and asked, "Do you really think Goku can handle the responsibilities of a god of destruction?" Whis, thoughtful as always, admitted that he had the same doubts. He explained that while Goku is strong and determined, the very nature of a destroyer's job, erasing planets and ending the lives of mortals, is something that doesn't align with Goku's heart. This lingering question hung in the air. Can Goku truly fulfill the role he has just inherited? On the other hand, the scene shifts back to Goku and Angel Vados. Several days of Goku's rest have already passed, and now the first day of his training with Vados is finally about to begin. Vados speaks first and tells Goku that their very first training will focus on accessing the energy of destruction. Curious, Goku immediately asks how he is supposed to do that. Vados explains that from the very beginning, Goku must learn to feel and tap into the specific emotion tied to destruction. She adds that this energy has different stages of adjustment, and mastering these levels will help Goku gain deeper experience in controlling the power of destruction. Goku then asks, "So does that mean I can only access this power through my own emotions?" Vados confirms, "Yes, once you begin destroying things, anger will naturally flow within you." Hearing this, Goku responds confidently. He says it sounds simple, because he already learned a similar method back when he first trained to use his Super Saiyan transformation. But Vados quickly corrects him, saying it is not that easy. Anger, if scattered and uncontrolled, is useless. Instead, it must have direction and purpose. Pure destruction requires exclusive intent, and Goku must also remove any hesitation from his mind to destroy things correctly. Goku then recalls what Beerus taught Vegeta about Hakai, and he points out that it sounds very similar. Vados agrees but clarifies further. Yes, the formula may seem alike, but the result is different. Mortals can only imitate this power to a certain extent, like when using Hakai. But Hakai itself is just a technique derived from the energy of destruction, a weakened version compared to the true ability of an actual god of destruction. No mortal can ever surpass the real, authentic power of destruction. Hearing this explanation, Goku finally understands. He then decides to try out what Vados has been telling him. He releases a massive amount of Kai, but Vados quickly stops him, pointing out that he is still only using ordinary ki, not destruction energy. Confused, Goku insists that he already felt anger within his body earlier. He then asks Vados, "What should I do now?" Vados then tells Goku that if he can't properly control the energy of destruction, the solution is simple. He must meditate. Surprised, Goku asks, "Meditate?" Vados explains further, "Yes, meditation will help you discover the true source of your destruction mind. Through it, you will also gain a deeper understanding of yourself. I'm certain that you'll eventually find your own negative energy, and most of the time, that can be found in the darkest parts of your being. All you need to do is dive deep into that darkness, focus on your mind, and feel every ounce of Kai flowing through your body and spirit. If you find your negative energy, try to merge with it. But be careful. If your will is weak, that darkness could consume you instead." Hearing this, Goku decides to follow her instructions. Within only a few seconds of meditating, he's already able to descend into the deepest, darkest corners of his inner self. There, he immediately searches for the negative energy Vados mentioned. To his surprise, he quickly finds it and even dares to grasp it with his own hands. The moment he does, he's shocked. Goku exclaims, "What is this feeling? I've never experienced this kind of pain in my entire life." At that point, Goku is overwhelmed with disturbing flashbacks, memories that once brought him intense emotions and suffering. Yet, instead of being consumed, Goku fights back against this negative force. After a fierce internal struggle, he successfully manages to absorb and control the dark energy, just as Vados instructed. Finally, he returns to his normal self. Catching his breath, Goku says proudly, "I did it." Meanwhile, Vados smiles, clearly pleased with the outcome. Goku had just completed the very first step of his training. The first panel takes us straight to planet Hale, where Frieza has just arrived along with two of his followers. Their destination? A secret hideout. As the three of them enter, one of Frieza's men recalls the very first time Frieza's father brought him to this place to deal with a mortal. Frieza responds, saying it's been such a long time since he last visited this place. His father had built this prison to contain mortals that he considered pests. After all these years, Frieza is finally returning here once again. The moment they arrive, Frieza is greeted by a large group of Saiyans who immediately kneel before him out of respect. Frieza then remarks that although he has countless soldiers who fight to keep his hands clean, if these mortals ever escaped, all of it would become meaningless. At this point, Frieza's right-hand man begins to speak. He reveals that decades ago, King Cold's first army was actually led by his eldest son, Cooler, Frieza's older brother. Together with his trusted warriors, Cooler was eventually captured and locked inside this very structure. This prison was specially designed to contain Cooler's incredible power. Back then, Cooler was already extremely powerful and had proven himself many times while serving under King Cold. But as the years passed, he grew even stronger. So strong that King Cold began to fear him. Eventually, the day came that King Cold feared the most. Cooler had surpassed him in strength. Afraid of losing his throne, King Cold made a plan together with Frieza to finally subdue and imprison Cooler. And now, We see Frieza making his way back to the place where Cooler has been sealed away all this time. And here, we finally see Cooler, sealed inside a containment capsule, unconscious and completely paralyzed. According to one of the mortals, Cooler is kept in this state by advanced technology that continuously suppresses his power and prevents him from escaping. Frieza then speaks, saying, "Yes, that's my older brother." He even congratulates Kikuno for successfully keeping Cooler imprisoned in the capsule for so many years. But then, Frieza adds that he actually wants Cooler to be released, and this time he'll be the one to handle him. Kikuno hesitates and asks if Frieza is really sure about this plan. He warns that once Cooler is freed, they may never be able to seal him back again. But Frieza just laughs and replies, "Don't be foolish. Cooler used to be stronger than me in the past, but after all these years, I've grown far beyond him. The idea that he could defeat me now is impossible." Because of Frieza's confidence, Kikuno finally releases Cooler, and within just a few minutes, Cooler's body quickly recovers to normal. The moment he wakes up and sees Frieza, he immediately goes berserk. Frieza greets him mockingly, "How are you, my beloved brother?" But Cooler responds with anger, "Who do you think you are, Frieza, to stand before me like this? And where is our father?" Frieza calmly replies, "I'm sorry I didn't inform you sooner, but our father has long been dead." Cooler refuses to believe it. He demands to see the face of their cruel father with his own eyes. But Frieza tells him the shocking truth. Believe it or not, father was killed by a Saiyan. Cooler is stunned. "Are you serious, Frieza? Those filthy monkeys, we defeated our father." Frieza continues, "You're not updated on what's been happening, brother. You've been locked away in that capsule for too long. Let me tell you, the Saiyans are far stronger now than both you and me. Hard to admit, but there's even one Saiyan alive today who has surpassed us both." Cooler refuses to believe Frieza's words. "Don't take me for a fool." But Frieza insists, "This is exactly why I came here. The Saiyans are becoming a threat to us. With every passing day, they grow stronger. That's why I want to join forces with you, Cooler. Together, we can build an empire powerful enough to stop them. This is the only way to eliminate the Saiyans." But instead of agreeing, Cooler bursts into rage. "Join forces with you? I'd rather kill you right here, Frieza, and destroy those Saiyans you speak of." Cooler then unleashes an overwhelming surge of power, shocking everyone around him, and charges straight at Frieza. But to his surprise, Frieza effortlessly blocks his attack without even breaking a sweat. Frieza then spoke, saying he was surprised that Cooler hadn't lost any of his strength despite being imprisoned for such a long time. But now, Frieza declares that he has become far stronger than his brother. At that moment, Frieza unleashes a massive surge of energy and transforms into Golden Frieza. Cooler is completely shocked at what he sees. He asks, "How did you become this powerful, Frieza?" Frieza responds, "I mastered this technique just a few years ago, and if you want to learn it too, I can teach you, but only if you agree to work with me. We cannot allow the Saiyans to rule over this universe." After hearing this, Cooler finally agrees to join forces with his younger brother. Hours later, the two of them board Frieza's spaceship. Cooler looks around and admits he's impressed. "This is quite the ship. I've never traveled in something like this before." Frieza explains, "Kikuno is in charge of this vessel. Not only is it fast and massive, but it also has its own training area, perfect for us to train during long journeys." But then, Cooler notices a mortal sitting quietly in the corner. Curious, he asks Frieza who the mortal is. Frieza answers, "That's Linzer, from planet Yardrat." Cooler looks unimpressed. "He doesn't look powerful. Is he one of your elite soldiers?" Frieza shakes his head. "No, but this mortal has a special ability that will be very useful to us in the future." Cooler then presses for answers. "So, what exactly is our plan?" At this point, Frieza shows Cooler a special list. Their targets, which he refers to as beasts. Frieza explains, "Aside from you and me, I've also chosen powerful warriors who have the potential to defeat the Saiyans on Earth. Together, they are what I call the beasts. With them at our side, we won't just overpower the Saiyans, we'll even be able to challenge the gods of each universe." Hearing this, Cooler is caught off guard. "Gods? What do you mean by the gods of the universes? Frieza smirks. I'll explain everything in detail tomorrow. For now, just know this. Many beings exist today who are stronger than the Saiyans. And these so-called gods, they're nothing more than dictators who hold our lives in their hands. But the beasts I've chosen, they have the power to overthrow even those gods. Cooler frowns, still uncertain. I don't know if I fully understand what's going on, but you'd better explain more about these beasts. I want to know exactly how strong they are. As Cooler scans through the list, one name catches his attention. He recognizes a familiar figure and blurts out, "Wait, could that be Majin Buu, the legendary maniac who wiped out hundreds of civilizations? My army once spent years investigating whether he had truly been revived. But our father ordered us never to touch that beast, even if it returned." Frieza then explains that these beings are called the primordial beasts. They are ancient deities that have been hidden away for countless ages. He admits he doesn't know everything about them yet, but he's certain that they have the power to defeat even a mighty god of destruction. As for Majin Buu, Frieza reveals a shocking detail. Long ago, millions of years in the past, a sorcerer named Bibidi managed to use only a fragment of Buu's true power. Even that small fraction caused catastrophic destruction across the universe. Years later, Majin Buu was unleashed again, but this time the Saiyans were able to defeat him. Still, Frieza claims that a massive portion of Buu's power has never been awakened, and that's exactly what they will use to gain the upper hand in their war. Cooler, still curious, asks his brother, "Where did you even learn about these strange beings? How did you discover them?" Frieza smirks and replies, "One of my men captured a mortal named Zunou, the being who knows everything about the universe, and even about the entire multiverse. I forced him to tell me everything he knew, and that's where I learned about the primordial beasts. I asked him to summarize all the knowledge he had on them, and now, I know it all." Frieza then points to another name on the list and says, "This one is Janemba. He will be the first beast we hunt down." Cooler smirks with excitement. "Then let's begin. I want to see these primordial beasts with my own eyes." Almost a month passes as Frieza's ship travels toward their destination, while Cooler spends every day inside the training room. Eventually, Frieza himself comments, "It's been 1 month since you started training. You've grown stronger so quickly. It took me nearly 3 months to reach the same level." Cooler confidently replies, "Of course, after all, I am the great Cooler." Frieza narrows his eyes and adds, "Don't think I'll ever take my eyes off you. The moment you surpass my power will be the moment I end you." But before the tension can rise further, one of Frieza's soldiers rushes in and announces that they've arrived at their destination. Frieza and Cooler immediately step out of the training room to assess the situation. Frieza looks ahead and explains, "That rift up there, it leads into a parallel dimension known as the Demon Realm, or Hakai World. And within that place, we will meet our newest ally." Kikono, worried, speaks up. "Lord Frieza, even though our ship is incredibly durable, the rift itself could still destroy it if we attempt to enter. That's why we'll need Linzer's help to teleport us safely into the rift." Cooler doubts whether Linzer can really teleport such a massive spaceship into another dimension. But Frieza's right-hand man explains that the Yardratians are known for having countless techniques, and one of their specialties is instant teleportation. Normally, it would be impossible to warp a ship this size, but Linzer is no ordinary Yardrat. He's a prodigy, with refined skills far beyond the average of his race. Moments later, Linzer proves it. With ease, he teleports the entire ship into the rift, shocking Cooler, who finally admits, "So this is why we brought this little insect along. His skill is reliable after all." As they enter the dimension, they're immediately ambushed by a swarm of monsters. Kikono quickly activates the ship's barrier, shielding them from the onslaught. "Don't worry, my lord," Kikono assures. "This barrier won't be broken by creatures like them." Frieza then recalls Zuno's words. Janemba is nearby, sealed within a stronghold deep inside this realm. At their current speed, it will only take a few hours to reach it, but they should expect battles along the way. Minutes later, they arrive at the outer gate. One of Frieza's men signals Linzer to teleport them past the defenses, and in an instant, the squad materializes inside enemy territory. Waiting for them is a demon, laughing menacingly. Frieza sneers and tells Cooler, "Look at that weakling. He actually wants to fight us. Why don't you let your soldiers handle this one, Cooler? Let's see if they're really as reliable as you say." Cooler turns to his troops. "Don't you dare embarrass me." The demon charges, but one soldier scans its power level and reports, "Only 200,000. We can handle this." At once, the troops shout to activate a Tactic Battle 16, their coordinated formation. Frieza observes with mild amusement, "I remember this division. They once crushed the Ginyu Force. No wonder they're feared across the universe." The demon's assault is blocked, and Cooler's soldiers begin to strike back. Frieza comments on their strengths. Dor has raw power, strong enough to fight gigantic creatures head-on. Knees may not be skilled in combat, but his paralysis ability can disable even the strongest fighters. And Captain Salza, his Kai blade can slice a mountain in half. He's one of the strongest warriors they have. Working together, Dor, Knees, and Salza overwhelm the demon and bring it down. Cooler smirks and asks, "Well, Frieza, do you still doubt my men?" Frieza replies, "Not bad, let's move on." But the demons nearby whisper in shock. They actually defeated that monster, one of our strongest guardians. It took us years to find and tame that beast. One demon considers reporting to the Celestial Guardians, but their leader forbids it. "No, we've been confined here for too long. If we defeat these intruders, we can claim the title of Celestial Guardians ourselves." Another monster growls, "These invaders aren't gods. We can crush them. Leave this to me." As Frieza's group advances deeper inside, they encounter the second Guardian. Frieza smirks. "So this is the one guarding Janemba. Interesting." But the demon snarls. "Fools! You think you can control Janemba? That monster is beyond anyone's control." Frieza snaps back. "I've controlled the Saiyans before. I'll do the same with him." The demon laughs. "Don't compare Janemba to those monkeys. You don't know what you're dealing with." Frieza's eyes narrow coldly. "I don't care who or what you are. Stand in my way and you'll be erased." At his command, Frieza's soldiers rush forward, expecting another easy win. But they're wrong. The demons counter effortlessly, and even Frieza's strongest troops begin to falter. One soldier scans their enemy and gasps. The power level reads 120 million, far beyond what they anticipated. Cooler glares at Frieza. "Are you sure you gave your soldiers the right equipment?" Frieza replies, "That's the most advanced tech in the entire universe. But this is the problem. We mortals can now hide their true power. Not even our scouters can detect them accurately anymore." On the battlefield, Cooler's most elite warrior is crushed in defeat. Cooler clenches his fists, his voice cold with fury. "Pathetic. To see my soldier fall so easily. He failed to detect the enemy's true strength. But even if he used every strategy he had, it wouldn't have been enough. These creatures are far too strong." Cooler steps forward, his aura erupting around him. "Enough! I am the great Cooler. Prepare yourselves. You will fall by my hand." He unleashes a tremendous amount of Kai, shaking the ground around him. Salza quickly checks the radar, and to his shock, Cooler's power level skyrockets to 600 billion. Even Salza, who has seen countless warriors, is stunned by the sheer magnitude of this energy. Cooler smirks and tells him to keep an eye on the radar, to see if it can even keep up with his true power. Salza agrees, though deep down, he doubts what Cooler is claiming. Cooler then adds with confidence that, although he can still grow stronger, his current strength is already more than enough to crush their enemies. Meanwhile, a group of demons watching from nearby are left speechless. One of them mutters that Cooler's strength feels comparable to that of a celestial being, something unthinkable for a so-called mortal. Another demon scoffs, saying Cooler is nothing but an ordinary mortal, and suggests they call for their boss. But one demon refuses. Instead, he declares that they should fight Cooler themselves, because if they defeat him, they could rise in status and claim the title of Celestial Guards. The three demons roar as they power up, releasing massive bursts of ki that ripple across the battlefield. Even Salza is caught off guard by the raw intensity of their combined aura. Cooler glances at Salsa and asks if they're stronger than him. Salsa quickly shakes his head and explains that Cooler is still the stronger fighter, but warns that the real problem is that the demons are fighting as a team. Cooler only smirks, unfazed, and replies, "Good, then maybe this will serve as a nice little exercise for me." The demons hear his mocking tone and, enraged, charge at him with full force. But Cooler is on a completely different level. He moves with incredible speed, dodging every strike with ease. No matter how hard they try, none of their blows even graze him. Then, in a sudden flash, Cooler counters with devastating precision, striking one demon so hard that he's instantly taken down. The other two regroup quickly and launch a massive combined attack, unleashing an explosion that shakes the entire battlefield. Yet Cooler effortlessly blocks the attack and even absorbs their energy into himself. Calmly, he says, "So that's your specialty? Too bad. It has no effect on me." Desperate, the demons shift to a new strategy. One demon lunges in and grabs Cooler's arm, trying to restrict his movements, while another rushes forward for the finishing blow. But before it can connect, Cooler's eyes flash with deadly intent. He fires a concentrated beam directly from his eye, blasting the demon head-on. Without even breaking a sweat, Cooler warns them coldly, "You don't understand. Nothing you're doing matters to me. You'd better let me go before it's too late." At this point, Cooler showed no mercy and completely finished off the three demons. After the battle, he commented that he had expected their fight to be a true challenge, but instead, it was nothing more than a disappointment. Still, he admitted it wasn't a total waste. What mattered was that, after such a long time, he finally got to enjoy the thrill of combat again. Salsa, however, was confused. According to his radar, those three demons really did possess incredible power. And yet, Cooler managed to defeat them so quickly it hardly seemed like a struggle. Frieza then spoke up, noting that Cooler had clearly learned how to control his power better than before. That observation made Frieza stop and think. He realized that Cooler's ki was now on par with his own, and if that was true, there was even a chance Cooler could surpass him. With this in mind, Frieza decided it would be best to keep a very close eye on his brother. But suddenly, one of the demons stood back up, refusing to accept defeat. He declared that things weren't over, that he was destined to become one of the Celestial Guardians, and that someone like him could not be taken down so easily. Cooler looked at him coldly and said, "What are you talking about? You were already defeated, just like your two companions. Whatever happened to them will happen to you as well." In that moment, the demon unleashed an overwhelming surge of Kai. What shocked everyone even more was that he began to absorb the power of his fallen allies. Salsa's eyes widened as the demon's strength skyrocketed beyond what he expected. Within seconds, the demon's body transformed. His appearance shifted and his aura darkened, making him look far stronger and far more dangerous than before. The demon laughed and boasted loudly, "Now that I've absorbed the power of my two comrades, I've become the strongest demon in the entire universe. Cooler, prepare yourself, because you will not survive this." Salsa was left speechless, while Frieza, instead of being alarmed, grew intrigued. He was genuinely interested to see just how powerful this demon had become. Cooler, on the other hand, smirked and said, "Well, you do look a bit interesting." Before anyone could react, the demon suddenly charged forward at a speed that even caught Cooler by surprise. Cooler barely managed to avoid the strike, but he quickly prepared to counterattack, summoning a devastating wave blast to fire at the demon. However, before he could release it, the demon attacked again, moving with incredible speed and managing to grab onto Cooler directly. Once he had a hold of him, the demon unleashed a relentless flurry of blows. Cooler was forced onto the defensive, struggling under the sheer pressure of the onslaught. Watching this unfold, Salsa grew worried. He thought to himself that if this continued, Cooler might not survive. Out loud, he even said that they needed to step in and help him. But Frieza cut him off sharply. With an icy glare, Frieza said, "Don't be a fool. If Cooler cannot find a way to handle this enemy on his own, then he doesn't deserve to be part of my army. His life means nothing to me." At this moment, Cooler spoke and admitted that in his entire life, he had never received attacks like the ones he had just experienced. The demon, confident, shouted that it was now time for Cooler to die. But Cooler only glared back, promising that the demon would pay for everything it had done to him. Suddenly, Cooler released a surge of Kai so overwhelming that both Salsa and Frieza were shocked. Salsa wondered aloud if Cooler was about to use his strongest transformation, something he had never seen in his life. Frieza then explained, saying, "Unlike Cooler and our father, King Cold and I can only control our ultimate forms to some extent. But Cooler, he can handle his full power flawlessly, without mistakes. That's one of the reasons why he infuriates me. He was born gifted, with unimaginable potential." Still, Frieza smirked and admitted that despite his annoyance, he was glad to witness Cooler's transformation once again. Finally, Cooler transformed into his ultimate form. His aura grew fiercer, and his body radiated unstoppable energy. He declared, "I never expected I'd get the chance to show you all my true strength. Consider yourself honored, because you'll die at the hands of the one and only Cooler." The demon angrily shouted at him to shut up. But within seconds, Cooler prepared his assault. Every strike he launched landed directly on the demon, cutting off the demon's arms in the process. Stunned and confused, the demon couldn't understand how Cooler had overpowered him so easily. Before he could even recover, Cooler was already in front of him, driving a devastating attack straight into his stomach. The demon gasped in disbelief, saying it was impossible. But Cooler coldly replied, "I told you already. Your strength can never be compared to mine. You never had a chance to defeat me." Desperate, the demon shouted back and revealed his last resort. He planned to self-destruct, intending to take Cooler with him in death. Cooler quickly realized what he was trying to do, and without hesitation, unleashed a final attack that triggered a massive explosion. The blast was so powerful that Frieza had to shield himself and his soldiers just to survive the shockwave. Furious, Frieza shouted at Cooler, "What were you thinking? Do you want to destroy this entire place and wipe out my army? Worse, do you want to ruin Janemba as well?" Cooler casually replied that it was true. He might have gotten a bit carried away and enjoyed himself too much. But in the end, everything was fine, and there was nothing to worry about. Frieza then looked at Janemba, still sealed in his cocoon, and remarked, "It seems this cocoon hasn't been affected at all. Should we wake him up now?" But Cooler stopped him, asking, "Aren't you even curious about what Zunou said about this creature?" Frieza answered that he had intended to ask their enemies about it earlier, but Cooler killed them before he got the chance. Cooler only shrugged and said he didn't care. What mattered was that they should return and ask Zunou directly about Janemba. And so, at that moment, Frieza and Cooler prepared to head off on their next move, to visit Zunou and uncover the truth about Janemba. The opening panel takes us to planet Goku, where Goku has just finished his training under Vados. During their conversation, Goku admits that he never expected things to turn out this way. Even though he has become a god of destruction, he still can't defeat Vados, whose strength in combat is overwhelming. Vados responds kindly, telling him not to underestimate himself. She reminds Lord Goku that in such a short amount of time, he has already learned how to properly use the powers of a god, something not many could achieve so quickly. Goku agrees, saying that it's true. He can now control his body and power much better than before. In the past, he would accidentally break things during training, but now he has gained far more control. Still, Vados warns him that although he's improving, there are limits. If he loses control during a real fight, it could endanger not just himself, but the entire universe. Goku replies with determination, promising to do everything he can to fully master and study this destructive power. Vados then advises him to rest. She explains that sometimes rest is just as important for progress as training itself, and it will also help Goku learn how to minimize his overwhelming energy. She even asks if there's anywhere in Universe 6 that Goku would like to visit. Goku thinks about it and answers with excitement. He says he wants to fight Hit again, and more importantly, he wants to finally visit planet Sadala, the homeworld of the Saiyans in Universe 6. But Vados cautions him. She explains that right now, fighting Hit might not be a good idea. Goku's strength has grown so much that Hit may no longer be a worthy opponent. and such a fight could cause unnecessary problems in Universe 6. On the other hand, visiting planet Sadala would be an excellent choice. Goku agrees, saying that there's no fun in fighting Hit if he has to hold back his full power. So instead, he decides it's better to go see Sadala. Vados approves, telling him that they should rest for the day and then head to the Saiyan planet tomorrow. The next day, Goku and Vados finally arrive at planet Sadala. Goku is stunned by the beauty of the place and can't help but express his admiration. He says that he never imagined the Saiyans could build such an amazing world. As they soar across the skies, Vados explains that Sadala had once been destroyed long ago. However, during the last millennium, great efforts were made to restore and develop the planet. Now, planet Sadala has become the world with the highest number of living mortals in all of Universe 6. Goku then spoke up and asked, "Why did things end up like this?" Vados then explains to Goku that there are many reasons why planet Sadala thrives the way it does. But the main reason, she says, is because the Saiyans of Universe 6 have the strongest military force among all planets in their universe. The Saiyans here provide top-level security and policing services across Universe 6, and their influence has become one of the biggest driving forces in maintaining peace. Think of it this way. In Universe 7, we have the Galactic Patrol, right? But here in Universe 6, instead of that, they have what's known as the Sadala Saiyan Force, a group of heroes that act as the guardians of their universe. Hearing this, Goku nods and says that now he understands. He remembers that Kaba once mentioned to him about the Saiyan heroes of this universe. And right at that moment, as Goku and Vados continue flying across the skies, they suddenly catch the attention of several Saiyans patrolling the area. Goku, curious, asks what's going on with these warriors. Vados calmly explains that they're already approaching the royal castle, which is why the security has become tighter. Before long, Goku and Vados land, and immediately they are confronted by Saiyan guards. One of them steps forward and demands to know who they are and why they've come to this place. Goku, in his usual honest and straightforward way, says that he just wants to meet Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale. But upon hearing these names, the Saiyan guard becomes suspicious. He accuses Goku of plotting something against their captains and even questions if Goku has ties with local bandits. Goku, confused, blurts out, "Bandits? No way, we're not bad people." But the situation gets tense until, just in time, Kaba himself arrives. The young Saiyan quickly orders his men to stand down, assuring them that Goku and Vados are his friends. Kaba then turns to Goku with surprise, asking, "What are you even doing here?" And, "Where's Lord Champa?" Goku scratches his head, realizing he forgot to mention something important. He tells Kaba that Champa is no longer the god of destruction of Universe 6. Since Champa couldn't properly handle his duties, the role has now been passed on to Goku himself. This revelation stuns Kaba. He asks with a worried expression, "Wait, so you came here as the new god of destruction? Are you planning to destroy our planet?" But Goku quickly waves off the thought. He assures Kaba that he has no such intention. He's only here to learn more about planet Sadala and its people. Relieved, Kaba then asks if Goku would like to meet their king. Without hesitation, Goku agrees. Moments later, Goku and Vados are escorted into the royal throne room of planet Sadala. Kaba respectfully announces Goku's arrival, explaining to the king that this Saiyan before him is now the god of destruction of their universe. The king, puzzled at first, asks why Goku carries such a title and what happened to Champa. Kaba confirms again that Goku has taken over the role. Hearing this, the king orders his guards to let them enter. Inside, Goku and Vados are met with respect as the king bows before them. With a calm but curious tone, the king asks, "What is the reason for your visit to our planet?" Goku, smiling, responds humbly. He simply came here to visit Sadala, and to remind them that above all else, he too is a Saiyan. Goku smiles and introduces himself properly, saying, "My name is Son Goku. Nice to meet you." But as he looks closely at the king of Sadala, he can't help but notice something strange. The king looks a lot like Vegeta. Goku blurts it out, and the king raises an eyebrow. Vegeta? Is that the Saiyan you mentioned before, Kaba? The one from Universe 7? Kaba nods respectfully and confirms, yes, that's right. In fact, Vegeta is not only from Universe 7, he's also a close friend of Lord Goku. The king takes a deep breath and responds, a Saiyan from another universe who rose to the position of a god of destruction? Truly, this is unusual. Goku laughs lightly and says, yeah, it's hard to believe, but that's exactly what happened. Then, with a warmer tone, King Sadala extends an invitation. Lord Goku, would you like to join us for a meal? I want to know more about you and about the Saiyans from your universe. Kaba has told me many things, but it would be far better to hear your story directly. But to everyone's surprise, Goku shakes his head. I'm sorry, but I can't eat right now. I'm currently under punishment. The king is stunned. Punishment? But how could a god of destruction be punished? Before Goku could explain, Vados steps in. Calmly, she reveals the truth. During Goku's training, he was reckless. He's still not fully in control of his destructive power. Because of that, he accidentally damaged large portions of the universe. And so, as his angel attendant, I've placed him under discipline. She continues, for 1 month, he is forbidden from eating. Of course, as a god, Goku will not die from hunger. But since he has carried that habit from his mortal days, he still naturally feels the pangs of starvation. This punishment is necessary for his own self-control and discipline. Hearing this, King Sadala becomes deep in thought. He realizes just how dangerous Goku's power truly is if he could destroy massive parts of the universe simply by failing to control it. Then suddenly, the king rises from his throne. With a firm voice, he looks straight at Goku and says, Lord Goku, if that's the case, then I ask you this. Will you grant me the honor of facing you in battle right now? The room falls silent. Kaba's eyes widen in shock. Vados freezes, her usually calm demeanor shaken. And even Goku himself is caught off guard, staring at the king in disbelief. The king of Sadala has just challenged the god of destruction, Son Goku, to a fight. In the very first panel, after King Krista challenged Goku, our hero gladly accepted. The two then moved to a vast desert far away from planet Sadala's civilization. And it was there that their battle would begin. Kaba, however, voiced his concern. Even in such a remote place, I doubt the planet will survive their power. But Vados reassured him. She quickly formed a massive barrier technique, one that would contain the damage and hide their energy from the outside world. With this, the planet was safe, and no radar could detect their fight. Now fully prepared, Goku readied himself. He said, since Angel Vados has helped us, I won't be holding back anymore. King Krista smiled. Perfect. Kaba then admitted, I still don't understand why King Krista challenged Goku. Vados explained, that's the Saiyan nature. They always crave battles against warriors stronger than themselves. She then asked Kaba if their king was truly powerful. Kaba proudly answered, King Krista is the strongest Saiyan in this entire universe. He recalled a story from long ago, when an invading army attacked planet Sadala. The Saiyan forces failed to protect their world, but a single child defeated the invaders. That child was King Krista. From then on, he became the planet's hero, eventually crowned as their king. He was not only their leader, but the very savior of the Saiyan race. Vados was impressed. For Sadala to survive for centuries, I never imagined Saiyans could endure that long. Kaba continued, our king is special. He even sought out the Dragon Balls and wished for immortality, promising to protect Sadala for all eternity. Vados responded, so he was powerful even as a child. Over the centuries, I can only imagine how much stronger he has become. Kaba agreed, but reminded her, still, Goku is a god now. For our king to win seems impossible. Vados shook her head. Not necessarily. Goku is still only learning the power of a god of destruction. He struggles to control it. That means your king has a real chance of victory. And then, the battle erupted. Goku released a surge of overwhelming ki, and Krista matched it instantly. Within seconds, they clashed, unleashing a barrage of devastating attacks. The battlefield shook with every strike, their fight dead even. Kaba was astonished. Their movements are too fast, I can't even see their attacks. And the impact of each blow is unbelievable. Even Goku was shocked, exclaiming, "I never expected Krista to be this strong. His power feels like it's on par with a Super Saiyan 3. But before Goku could adjust, Krista landed a crushing punch, followed by a fierce kick that sent Goku flying. As he soared through the air, Krista chased him with a long-range blast and a storm of follow-up attacks. Goku managed to dodge and counter, but Krista immediately blocked and landed a punishing kick. Goku admitted, "I attacked from his blind spot and hid my Kai, yet he still sensed me." Then, in a flash, Krista appeared behind Goku and struck with explosive force, shaking the desert. "With this power, I can finish anyone," Krista declared. Goku retaliated with Hakai energy, the power of destruction itself. But Krista countered it with ease, launching another massive blow that sent Goku crashing into a devastating explosion. Kaba was stunned. I've never seen the king release this much Kai for a single attack. If Goku took that hit, it could have ended him. But Vados calmly said, "There's no need to worry," and she was right. From the smoke, Goku re-emerged, unharmed. This time his eyes had changed, his movements sharper. He had activated Ultra Instinct. King Krista looked at Goku and asked, "Is that your transformation?" "It doesn't look like a Saiyan form." Goku then replied, "This is Ultra Instinct, a technique of the angels." Krista's eyes narrowed. "Ultra Instinct, huh? Kaba once told me about that. It's the same technique you used during the Tournament of Power, right?" "Well then, let's see how strong that form truly is." In an instant, Krista rushed toward Goku, but Goku easily blocked the attack, dodging the rapid strikes that followed. Krista attacked again and again, yet Goku slipped past each blow effortlessly. The scene then shifted to Kaba and Vados. Kaba worriedly said, "But during the Tournament of Power, Goku's body suffered badly from Ultra Instinct. Isn't this dangerous for him?" Vados calmly explained, "Back then, Goku was only a mortal. His body couldn't handle Ultra Instinct's strain. But now, he is immortal and has divinity. That weakness is gone. The only risk is if he pushes his power too far. If he overuses his Kai, he could lose control." Back on the battlefield, Goku thought to himself, "I need to be careful. If I lose control, even Vados might not be able to stop me. But no matter what, I can't afford to lose this fight." He launched a powerful punch. Krista managed to block, but the impact still forced him back. Suddenly, Krista coughed up blood, shocked at Goku's overwhelming strength. "Amazing," he thought. "Not only does Ultra Instinct sharpen defense and speed, but it amplifies attacks as well. Truly incredible." But before he could recover, Goku appeared behind him, declaring, "I'll have to end this now." He charged up for a finishing blow. Yet at the very last moment, Krista unleashed a mysterious technique, vanishing from Goku's sight. Even Goku was stunned. Out of nowhere, Krista reappeared behind him, striking with a brutal punch. Goku dodged, but Krista's follow-up attack landed clean, blasting Goku across the battlefield. Bloodied and shaken, Goku struggled to rise. Kaba gasped, "What kind of attack was that?" Vados answered, "Krista's power is growing even stronger." Goku was equally confused. "I'm sure I dodged him. So how did he hit me? And this Kai, it's coming from above. Wait, is he transforming?" And then it was revealed. King Krista had transformed into his own unique Super Saiyan form. Kaba was in disbelief. "So the king can transform too. But It doesn't look like a normal Saiyan transformation. Vados explained, after 1,000 years of being an extraordinary warrior, it's no surprise he unlocked a hidden power unlike any other. Goku, feeling the aura, muttered, I felt this kind of ki before. He's serious now. With a roar, Krista shouted, Prepare yourself, Goku, and charged with astonishing speed. The ground trembled. Kaba yelled out, Goku, don't just stand there. And then, a massive explosion ripped through the battlefield, shaking the very land. Kaba was terrified. That attack was insanely strong. Is this still a friendly fight? Vados simply replied, This is how Saiyans truly fight. As the smoke cleared, the ground was left split open by a massive crater. Kaba anxiously asked, Who won? Where's Goku? Vados answered gravely, This is the problem I warned about. Krista himself looked concerned. This isn't good, he muttered. And then, they saw it. Goku emerged, but his aura had completely changed. He had lost control of his power, and the terrifying energy of destruction began pouring out of him. Kaba shouted in fear, His aura! It's different! He looks terrifying! Goku then raised his hand, his eyes cold. I'll destroy everything. King Krista braced himself, preparing to protect his planet at all costs. But fortunately, Vados was able to calm Goku down. Goku, still catching his breath, asked, What happened up there? Why did I lose control? Vados explained, When King Krista's attack was about to hit you, your survival instinct suddenly spiked. You pushed your Ultra Instinct to a higher level in order to evade the strike. But because of that, you lost control of your own power's limits. Goku sighed. So that's what happened. That means I actually lost this fight. King Krista then spoke. What matters is that our battle ended safely. Vados, however, reflected silently. To think Goku's instinct allowed him to escape such a deadly attack? It's remarkable. He can sense the exact level of incoming danger and adjust accordingly. But unfortunately, that same adaptation causes him to lose control. As for King Krista, he truly is a special warrior. She then smiled at the two warriors and said, Let me fix your clothes. And in an instant, both Goku and Krista were restored from their battle-worn state. After a few minutes, they all returned to Krista's kingdom. There, Goku spoke up, Thank you, King Krista. Fighting you was truly exciting. I'm happy to know there's such a powerful mortal in Universe 6, but I'll be even happier if we get to fight again. This time, without holding anything back. King Krista smirked. So you noticed. I wasn't using my full strength either. You weren't the only one. Goku admitted. Yeah, I've only tapped into part of my true power. Once I remove that limit, I'd like to fight you again. Then he added curiously, But tell me, why didn't you join the Tournament of Power? With your strength, the results could have been completely different. King Krista shook his head. I made a vow to this planet, that I would never leave it no matter what. That is my responsibility as king. Goku grinned. You really are a responsible leader. Then, turning to Kaba, he asked, Kaba, can you take me to Caulifla and Kale? Kaba was shocked. Didn't I tell you never to mention their names here? Goku scratched his head. Sorry about that. But King Krista intervened. No need to worry. Goku is a god of destruction. He's not involved in our internal conflicts. If he wishes to see Caulifla and Kale, then let him. Just be cautious, Goku. The chapter opens with Kaba accompanying Goku as they travel toward Kale and Caulifla's location. While flying over the region, Goku notices something unusual. Countless mortals living in poverty and despair. Curious, he asks why things are this way. Kaba explains that lately, there's been a massive rise in theft, conflict, and rebellion across planet Sadala. The place they're heading into is actually rebel territory, an area where wars frequently break out. Startled, Goku asks, Planet wars? Kaba nods and elaborates. He reveals that many revolutionary groups are trying to overthrow King Krista's rule, and leading these rebels is none other than Caulifla herself. Goku is shocked. Caulifla, a rebel leader? He reflects on her fiery nature and her bond with Kale, realizing that their anger and resentment toward the current state of things makes this revelation both understandable and tragic. Kaba continues, adding that not only Caulifla, but even Kalo and many other Saiyans no longer support King Krista's leadership. They believe the king has lost his way. Still, Kaba insists that Krista has always been loyal to planet Sadala, even earning the title of hero in the past. Generations ago, his strong rule ensured their planet's safety, preventing outside invaders from daring to attack. But with time, many Saiyans began to forget his contributions. Now, some view him not as a protector, but as a tyrant unfit for the throne. That's why Caulifla took charge of the rebellion. Originally, her forces were nothing more than small bands of criminals ruling over a minor territory. But as wars dragged on, wealthy tycoons from across the universe began secretly funding her cause. With their backing, the rebel army grew stronger and more organized, forcing King Krista's imperial soldiers into constant battle. Eventually, Goku, Kaba, and Vados arrive at the entrance of the rebel castle. Kaba halts, admitting he can't go any further. As a known supporter of King Krista, he wouldn't be welcome inside. Goku thanks him for his guidance, and together with Vados, steps forward to meet the rebels face to face. Inside the castle, Caulifla and Kale are discussing matters when a follower rushes in with news. Someone has come to see them. At first, Caulifla assumes it's Champa and Vados. But she's caught off guard when Goku himself walks in, accompanied only by the angel. After introductions, Goku reveals the truth. He has now taken Champa's place as the new god of destruction of Universe 6. Caulifla doesn't hesitate. Without warning, she challenges Goku to a fight. Goku is surprised. He expected her to feel intimidated by his new destructive power. Instead, she seems more eager than ever. Smirking, she tells him this is the perfect chance to battle a Saiyan who has ascended to divine status, and boldly declares that she's far stronger now than the last time they crossed paths. Goku responds carefully. He admits he's still learning to control his destructive energy, warning that a battle right now could be dangerous. If he were to lose control, his power might accidentally wipe them out in an instant. But Caulifla refuses to back down. Instead, she smirks and calls out, "Oh, really? Then let's make this even more exciting. Kale, I need your help." Kale, nervous as ever, stammers, Me? You want me to fight too?" Caulifla nods with determination. "Yes, with you by my side, this will be worth it." Confused, Goku asks what they're planning. Before he can get an answer, the two Saiyan girls suddenly perform the Metamaran fusion dance. The sight leaves Goku stunned. When the bright light clears, a powerful new fused warrior stands before him. Impressed, Goku remarks, "Incredible, your power really skyrocketed. But wait, how did you even learn the fusion technique?" The fusion explains that after the Tournament of Power, they begged the Supreme Kai to let them use the Patara earrings. He refused, reminding them that such artifacts are divine and not meant for casual use. Still, after their persistence, he revealed another method, the ancient Metamaran dance. Determined, Caulifla and Kale traveled to planet Metamorujin, where they studied and mastered the technique. Surprised, Goku responds, "So that's how it is. I didn't realize the Metamorans still survived in this universe. In mine, they've long been extinct." The fused warrior smirks confidently. "You wanted to see something special, right? Then watch closely. We'll show you Super Saiyan 3. With a deafening roar, their aura explodes. The ground shakes, the skies tremble, and before Goku's eyes, the fusion transforms into Super Saiyan 3. Goku is left speechless. The hair glows faintly green, the energy is overwhelming, and the raw strength radiating from them even surpasses his own Super Saiyan 3. Proudly, the fused warrior declares, "This is the power you've been waiting for. Prepare yourself, Goku." Goku grins, excited. "All right then, let's begin." But before the fight can even start, Vados suddenly knocks Goku on the head, rendering him unconscious. The fused Saiyan protests angrily, but Vados calmly explains Goku has already reached his limit today. Forcing him further could lead to disaster. He will fight you another time. With that, Vados lifts Goku and departs, leaving planet Sadala behind. As they fly off, she softly remarks, "Even though he struggles with fear, I'm glad. The very first place he chose to visit as god of destruction was planet Sadala." seeking out its strongest warriors. His destructive energy remains unstable, but knowing Goku, one day, he'll master it. The story then shifts to another corner of the universe. Frieza and Cooler are in the middle of a grueling training session. Cooler notices his brother's strain and comments. "This training seems to be getting harder for you, Frieza. Don't you feel worried?" But Frieza smirks. "Worried? Not at all. The more intense this training becomes, the stronger I grow. And nothing makes me happier than that." Suddenly, one of Frieza's soldiers interrupts, reporting that they are nearing their destination. Cooler asks if he should prepare their forces, but Frieza dismisses it. "No need. We only came to ask Zunou a few questions. There won't be any conflict." Their ship lands on planet Zunou, and the brothers immediately step out, only to sense something strange. A powerful aura weighs heavily on them, unlike anything they've felt before. Cooler narrows his eyes. "Do you feel that, Frieza?" His brother nods grimly. "Yes, it's overwhelming. We must remain cautious." Rushing to Zunou's residence, they are horrified by the scene. Every guard and attendant lies dead, and worse, before them looms a monstrous creature, jaws clamped around Zunou himself. As shock sets in, another key makes itself known, a suffocating presence belonging to a mysterious mortal. Frieza's body feels heavy under the crushing aura. What is this power? Even Cooler appears unsettled. "Are you certain we can defeat such a being?" Frieza for once admits, "I don't know. Never in my life have I felt a ki like this." The mortal speaks, voice mocking. "Oh my darlings, I didn't come for you. I only came for this adorable chubby one." He gestures to Zunou in the monster's grip. Before the brothers can react, the figure throws a glowing card into the air. A teleportation technique activates, and in seconds, both he and Zunou vanish without a trace. Frieza snarls, "Cooler, why did you let them escape without even trying to stop them?" But Cooler replies coldly, "Because I had no intention of interfering." Elsewhere, hidden in the shadows, another mysterious figure has been watching all along. He mutters quietly, "If Zunou was their target, then it's likely their next target will be..." But he cuts himself short, leaving his thought unfinished. Finally, the story shifts one last time. In the vastness of space, all of the Super Dragon Balls have been gathered. Their radiant glow lights up the universe, but suddenly, a mysterious being appears. With terrifying power, he destroys them all in an instant, the explosion scattering fragments across the void. Laughing with delight, he exclaims, "How fun! Once again, I've destroyed something precious, especially this cursed relic." Another being steps forward and praises him. "Well done, Tyra. With Zalama's magic erased, every artifact born of his power will now be useless." And with that, it becomes clear. The mysterious beings have achieved one of their grand objectives, shaking the very foundation of the universes themselves. The first panel of this chapter takes us to planet Cereal, where we see Granola finally returning home. As soon as he arrives, he is greeted by his companion, a Namekian. The Namekian immediately notices something unusual and asks Granola what seems to be bothering him. Granola then reveals that during his last mission, he discovered something shocking. The tyrant Frieza is still alive. Hearing this, the Namekian is caught off guard and exclaims in disbelief, "What?" But he quickly warns Granola not to even think about confronting Frieza, because doing so would surely put his life in danger. Granola, however, is firm with his resolve. He responds that he will never allow Frieza to go unpunished. He insists that Frieza must pay for all the terrible things he has done to him and to their people, just as the Saiyans once suffered. But in that very moment, something strange happens. Out of nowhere, one of the Dragon Balls starts to glow, and then suddenly turns into stone. Granola looks at it in shock, completely confused about what just happened. The Namekian also speaks up, saying that he doesn't understand this phenomenon either. He mentions that this is the very first time something like this has occurred, but for some reason, he can feel that something extraordinary and unsettling is happening. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to planet Namek. Here, another Namekian rushes to report something urgent to their elder. He explains that the Dragon Balls are no longer functioning. Hearing this, the elder Namekian is troubled and begins to wonder what exactly is going on. He admits that he can sense something very unusual, something that feels deeply concerning. The story then moves to Earth. Here, we see Dendi, who also begins to feel the same disturbance. He says that he can sense that the Dragon Balls are no longer active. Even worse, He feels like something very important has been lost, although he cannot explain exactly what it is. At that moment, Denda immediately uses telepathy to reach out to Piccolo, asking if he too senses this strange phenomenon. Piccolo responds that yes, he feels it as well. He admits that he can't explain it clearly, but it's as if something terrible has just happened. At this point, the focus shifts back to the mysterious beings. One of them, who was the one that captured Zunou, finally arrives. He comments that it seems like he came a little late, since he missed all the fireworks. Another mysterious being then acknowledges his work, telling him that he carried out the mission successfully. Another one adds that the power of Zalama no longer exists, and that they have now obtained one of the greatest sources of knowledge in this entire realm. Without Zalama's power and Zunou's knowledge, their enemies will no longer have the means to resist them. We also learn that this mysterious being goes by the name Tyra. He then speaks, declaring that today marks a great victory for their group. However, he reminds everyone not to get overconfident, so that they don't repeat the mistakes of the past. Instead, they should leave this place quickly, before anyone attempts to interfere with their plans. After several hours, the scene transitions to a mysterious hideout. Inside, one of the beings respectfully speaks, "Master, how are you?" The master responds with a heavy tone, explaining that they had been deceived by the celestial mages. Instead of returning immediately to their own realm as expected, the celestial mages diverted their path and went straight to Zunou's planet. It was there that they captured Zunou. The one responsible for this was Brajan, a mage famously known as one of the greatest invocation mages in existence. On top of this, the celestial mages did not stop there. They went as far as destroying one of the Super Dragon Balls. Hearing this, another member of the group smirked and said, "I could already tell just by the look on your face that you wouldn't be bringing us good news. Didn't I tell you this would happen?" But the leader calmly responded, "I only did what was necessary." The Guardians were fully aware of the situation. And until there is solid confirmation that the enemy has truly invaded Xeno's kingdom, I cannot make any reckless or drastic moves. This is not the right time for such accusations. He paused for a moment, then added, "Still, the situation is indeed grave. Zunou is one of the most important sources of knowledge in all of Xeno's kingdom, and now he has been captured by our enemies. Worse, one of the strongest magical forces in this entire realm has also been destroyed." Another being challenged him, saying, "If you know who took Zunou, then it means you witnessed it yourself. Why didn't you try to stop Brajan? You're strong enough to do it." The leader's eyes narrowed. "It seems your primitive Saiyan blood is speaking louder than your wisdom," he replied coldly. "You know very well that if I engage that celestial mage in battle, the entire Universe 7 could have been destroyed. I will not begin a war without the permission of that universe's gods." But the being shot back with frustration. "So, you'd rather let them take Zunou than break a few laws? Then perhaps I would rather be a primitive warrior than follow your so-called wisdom." At that moment, another Celestial Guardian spoke up, siding with the leader. The leader of the Celestial Guardians cannot break that universal law. What he did was the correct decision. Even Master Anzen, if placed in the same position, would have done exactly the same thing. "But let me ask you something else, Master. Did you find Janemba?" The leader nodded. "Yes, and what I discovered troubled me deeply. In the Hakai world of Universe 7, I found the remains of mortals scattered about. That is why I went to Zunou's planet in the first place, to uncover whether the celestial mages were behind this chaos. But, ironically, I learned that the one who took Janemba's cocoon was not the celestial mages at all. It was the mortal Frieza, along with another mortal, Cooler. They too were planning to seek out Zunou to question him." At this point, the narrator reveals to the audience that this mysterious group is none other than the Celestial Guardians. Another Guardian then asked, "But Master, why didn't you just retrieve Janemba when you had the chance? That would have been the easiest task for you." The leader firmly replied, "Do you not understand the rules? A mortal, whether good or evil, is still considered a citizen of their universe. As Celestial Guardians, realm mediators, it is not our place to interfere with mortals without the direct permission of the gods of their universe. If we did, it would be considered an act of aggression." One of the Guardians scoffed, shaking his head. "Those rules are ridiculous. I can't believe you expect us to follow them." The leader's voice hardened. "And that is exactly why I am the master, and you are not." The rebellious Guardian snarled, "Yes, and ever since you became master, all I've seen are your failures." The leader quickly retorted, "If that's truly how you feel, then tell me, what victories have you achieved?" That remark finally pushed the rebellious Guardian over the edge. Enraged, he unleashed an overwhelming surge of Kai, shaking the hideout with raw energy. Immediately, another celestial guardian stepped forward, preparing to shield their leader. He exclaimed in disbelief, "I cannot believe you would dare release your ki in front of our master himself." But before the situation escalated further, he raised his voice and said, "Instead of criticizing our master, wouldn't it be wiser for us to focus on finding a real solution? May I offer a suggestion? I believe this is no longer the time for caution. We must set the stage and open a proper game plan for Xeno's kingdom. Only then can we take the steps that are truly necessary." The leader finally nodded in agreement. His voice carried both resolve and authority as he declared, "You are right. We must alert the authorities immediately. The kidnapping of Zunou and the destruction of the Super Dragon Ball is nothing less than a clear declaration of war." Meanwhile, the scene shifts over to Lord Beerus's planet. Whis begins the conversation by saying, "It's already been nearly 2 weeks since Vegeta entered that place." Beerus, surprised, replies, "2 weeks? I don't even remember." That Whis calmly explains further. At this point, the oxygen aura inside the anti-dimension has completely vanished. If Vegeta doesn't return soon, it's very likely that his condition has become critical. In the worst case, he may already be gone. Beerus scoffs, clearly uninterested. "And why should I care what happens to that fool? He was jealous of Goku for becoming a god of destruction. Out of his pride, he wanted to surpass his own limits, so I allowed him to undergo that training. Whatever happens to him now is his responsibility, not mine." Whis then reminds him about the danger of Vegeta's choice. "You know very well, Lord Beerus, that the anti-dimension is the most dangerous realm in existence. It is the dumping ground of the universe, where all unwanted, destructive remnants are cast away to prevent them from damaging reality itself. Even the gods of destruction avoid that place, and even divine beings, deities themselves, struggle to endure within it. Vegeta has been inside for 2 weeks now. Honestly, Lord Beerus, I think you're growing anxious because Vegeta has lasted longer inside than you did during your first trial there." Beerus snaps back, "Stop talking nonsense. That was millions of years ago when I first entered that place." But before Whis can respond, the oracle fish suddenly speaks in a trembling voice. "Death. I sense death. Many will perish. The enemies are overwhelming and the universe is in grave danger." Beerus frowns, confused and annoyed. "What are you babbling about? Explain yourself properly." The oracle fish continues, "The power of these enemies, it's far too great. Countless lives will be lost. The entire universe stands on the edge of destruction." At that very moment, both Beerus and Whis feel a sudden massive surge of energy erupting from the anti-dimension, an ambient force so strong it shocks Beerus. He mutters, "What is this power? Could it be that our universe truly is in danger?" Whis instantly casts a powerful barrier technique, wrapping it around Beerus's planet to shield it from harm. But to their astonishment, a familiar figure emerges. Vegeta. Against all odds, Vegeta has shattered through the anti-dimension and managed to return alive. Whis smiles faintly and says to Beerus, "I'll leave Vegeta in your care now. As for me, I need to head out immediately and attend to the matter I was supposed to be at." Beerus is caught off guard. "Wait, I almost forgot we have a meeting with the other gods of destruction." Several hours later, Whis is seen healing Vegeta. He explains in a serious tone, Vegeta's condition was critical. Nearly 95% of his life force, his Kai, was gone. Every single bone in his body was broken, and his organs suffered extreme damage. If it weren't for my healing techniques, he wouldn't have survived even a few more minutes. Despite the terrible toll on his body, Whis reflects on Vegeta's resolve. He endured all of this simply because of his desire to become the strongest mortal of them all. But before Whis can continue, something interrupts him. A sudden, unexpected call reaches him, one that shocks him deeply. Could it be that something strange has happened? In the first panel, the scene takes place on planet Goku, where Goku is currently undergoing training under the supervision of Angel Vados. At this moment, we can see that Vados has summoned a large number of floating cubes around them. Goku then speaks and says, "All right, Angel Vados, let's begin." As soon as he gives the signal, Vados immediately launches a barrage of cubes straight toward Goku. The attack is fast and precise, and all the cubes are aimed directly at him. Goku quickly prepares himself and counters by using the Hakai technique, successfully destroying 2 of the cubes. However, he's surprised to see that 2 more cubes are already coming toward him. Despite the continuous attacks, Goku manages to finish the training session successfully with Vados. A few minutes later, Vados begins to speak again. She reminds Goku of something she always tells him, that there are different ways to use Hakai. One of these ways, she explains, is through detonation, or causing an explosion. You can also use Hakai to reduce something into dust, completely erasing it from existence. She then praises Goku, saying that after 2 months of training, he has managed to master 3 different methods of using Hakai. This is impressive considering that Lord Champa himself took an entire year to learn how to properly use Hakai. Goku responds by thanking Vados, saying that all this training has been a huge help for him and has greatly improved his strength and understanding. Vados then continues, saying there's still one more thing Goku needs to understand, the essence of the energy of destruction. Goku replies asking, "Didn't you say before that there's a difference between Hakai and destruction energy? I still don't fully get it." Vados answers and explains, "As I've said before, the energy of destruction is simply a form of energy, while Hakai is the product or result of that energy. Think of it like the Kamehameha. It's a technique that draws power from your ki energy. In simpler terms, the energy of destruction is like the tree, and Hakai is its fruit. Just as your ki energy allows you to perform the Kamehameha, the energy of destruction fuels the use of Hakai. This is similar to what Mr. Toppo and Mr. Vegeta do, but their versions of Hakai are merely simulations, and they can never surpass the true destructive power that belongs to an actual god of destruction." Goku then says, "I think I'm starting to understand, but what I'm wondering is why the energy of destruction feels so different from normal Kai. Why does it give off such a dark, unpleasant feeling? Is it really that difficult to control?" Vados explains, "Yes, there is a huge difference between normal ki and destruction energy. Normal ki is common. It comes from living beings or warriors like you. But the energy of destruction is a divine form of ki. It's far more powerful and dangerous. True destruction. Energy is actually a living energy." Surprised, Goku asks, "What do you mean by living energy?" Vados answers, "Once destruction energy is placed within a host, it takes the form of a spiritual being inside them. It develops its own awareness and will, almost like it's alive. That means when you accepted the destruction energy, a new being began to live within you." Hearing this, Goku is shocked. "What? Are you saying there's a ghost living inside my body now?" Vados calmly corrects him, saying, "Not exactly a ghost, the more accurate term is demon. Since the destruction energy is made of pure destruction and negativity, it manifests as something dark. That's why you feel uneasy or experience a bad sensation whenever you use it. The dangerous part is that this being inside you wants to take control of your body." Alarmed, Goku responds, "Wait, is that what happened to me when I fought King Krista?" Vados replied and said, "Yes, that's right. To keep the destruction energy under control, your body unconsciously used your own Kai as a stabilizer. The same Kai that fuels your techniques is also what maintains balance when using destruction energy. In other words, your ki acts as the control system that keeps the destructive power from going out of hand." She continued explaining, "During your battle with King Krista, you were only able to control a small portion of that destruction energy. Because of that, you could only access a small percentage of your true power. However, the energy inside you kept pushing you to release more than what your body could safely handle, and that's why you lost control during that fight." Goku then responded saying, "I think I understand now, but before my fight with King Krista, I was already able to control it pretty well. Could it be that I used too much power during that battle?" Vados nodded and confirmed, "Yes, you did use an immense amount of power. When you fought King Krista, the energy level you released was slightly lower than what you used back when you fought Jiren in the Tournament of Power. But now, you've grown stronger. You can handle even more energy than you did against Jiren without losing control. Honestly, if you were to fight King Krista again now, I believe there's a very high chance you would win." She added with a smile, "To tell you the truth, Goku, I think you're now among the top 5 strongest gods of destruction across the entire multiverse." Hearing this, Goku grinned and replied enthusiastically, "Nice! That makes me want to get even stronger. All right then, Angel Vados, let's continue our training." Vados chuckled and said, "You've become so different from Lord Champa, far more focused. But I'm afraid we might have to pause your training for now. Don't forget, there's a meeting of the gods later. We should go soon, or we'll be late." Goku suddenly remembered and said, "Oh yeah, that's right, but honestly, I don't really want to go. I hate wearing those hot formal clothes, and besides, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do there." Vados explained patiently, "Those meetings are gatherings where the gods discuss important matters about their universes, exchange their experiences, and handle various divine responsibilities. But to be honest, the angels aren't usually allowed to join the meeting itself. It's more like a chance for the gods to interact freely. Sometimes even to enjoy themselves or do, let's just say, not so serious things." Goku replied with interest, "Is that so? Maybe I can spar with some of them then. All right, Angel Vados, let's go." However, before they could leave, Vados suddenly paused, looking slightly puzzled. Someone's calling me," she said. Then she turned to Goku and added, "Anyway, while you still don't know exactly where the meeting will take place, I'll take you there myself, as fast as I can." Meanwhile, the scene shifts to another planet. According to the narrator, somewhere between the 12 universes exists a neutral world. a place that serves as common ground for all divine beings. This planet is said to be more resistant and durable than even the planets of the Kaioshians and the Hakaishans. It is called Moreso, and it is here that the meeting of destruction gods will take place. At that moment, the goddess Helios was seen speaking to Liquir, teasing him to give up, claiming that she's the best marksman among all the gods of destruction in the 12 universes. Liquir confidently replied, saying that she might be right, but only for now. The two were standing on one side of the planet, locked in a playful standoff, while Sidra was stationed on the opposite side. Sidra then spoke, saying that he intentionally allowed himself to become their target so he could demonstrate his speed and the durability of his shield technique. Within seconds, Sidra suddenly sensed an incoming attack. He quickly dodged it with ease. He then commented that by analyzing the key of that attack, he could tell that the arrow came from Liquir. He sighed, saying the situation was starting to get boring. However, right after saying that, a sudden crack appeared on his shield. He was caught off guard by another silent yet powerful attack. Shocked, Sidra exclaimed, "What? Was that Helios' arrow? It's incredibly accurate. I didn't even hear a sound, no wonder I didn't notice it. And the impact, it's so strong that it actually cracked my shield." Meanwhile, the scene shifted to Rumshi and Moscow, who were having a friendly competition to see who was physically stronger. Then it cut to Arak, Gin, and Iwan, who were casually drinking together. Iwan joked, saying, "It's been nearly a million years since I last had a haircut." His comment made both Arak and Gin laugh in surprise. The scene then moved again, this time to Beerus, who shouted loudly, "This time, I'm the one who's going to win, Kitella." Quitella smirked and replied, "I doubt that's going to happen." The two immediately began an intense arm wrestling match. Watching from the side, Belmod commented, "My money's on Quitella. He's going to win this one." Beerus immediately snapped back, telling him to shut up. Belmod simply shrugged and said, "Honestly, those two are just wasting their time exhausting themselves. I'm already tired just watching them." But suddenly, all the gods of destruction stopped what they were doing. Something unexpected caught their attention. Someone pointed out that Angel Vados seemed to be rushing toward the area. The camera then shifted, revealing Goku, who had just arrived. Goku looked around and said, what exactly am I supposed to do here?" He was clearly startled, noticing that all the gods of destruction were staring at him with hostile expressions. He muttered, "Wow, they really don't seem to like me at all." Trying to ease the tension, Goku called out, "Hey Beerus, long time no see. Could you maybe help me get along better with the other gods of destruction?" But Beerus, clearly embarrassed, shouted back, "Can you please just get out of my sight and stop embarrassing me in front of everyone?" Then Quitella smirked and added mockingly, "By the way, after the way you spoke to Zunou, do you really think you'll be popular among us now?" He was referring, of course, to the time Goku had casually talked to Grand Zunou, the supreme ruler of all universes. Something that none of the other gods would ever dare to do. Some of the gods of destruction in the meeting clearly didn't like the idea of Goku becoming one of them. Goku spoke up and said calmly, "Can everyone please relax? It's not like I asked to become a god of destruction in the first place." But Rumshi mocked him, saying, "Yeah, right, you probably licked Lord Zeno's feet just to get that title, for nothing." Iwan then stepped in and said, "The past is the past. What matters now is that Goku is officially one of us. Let's just move forward." Helios agreed, saying, "Iwan's right. Personally, I'm actually happy to have Goku with us. Finally, there's at least one good-looking god of destruction here. Without him, this whole meeting would have looked like a horror show." That made some of the others laugh, though Quitella quickly interrupted, saying, "Yeah, I agree with that part, but looks aren't everything." Then Beerus spoke up with his usual irritated tone. "I don't care about that fool," he said, referring to Goku, "but I'm not going to join you cowards in ganging up on the new guy. Picking on him just because he's new? That's pathetic." At this moment, Goku's cheerful demeanor faded. He looked more serious now. He said, "You know what? I'm tired of all the training. I want to fight a real battle again. So why don't we start right now?" Quitella sneered and replied, "Don't be stupid, newbie. You're not ready for that yet." But just as Goku and Quitella were about to begin their fight, everyone suddenly felt a strange and powerful key in the distance. Goku immediately turned to Beerus and asked, "Beerus, do you feel that key too?" Beerus frowned and said, "Yeah." "Who is that?" "That energy is insanely strong." A moment later, a bright light appeared, and from it emerged a majestic being. The aura surrounding him was unlike anything the gods had ever sensed before. It was the leader of the Celestial Guardians. The being spoke with authority, saying, "All gods, we need to have a serious discussion." Instantly, all the gods of destruction stopped what they were doing and prepared to listen. Even the usual loud ones went silent. The presence of this being demanded respect. The Celestial Guardian looked directly at Goku and said, Are you the Super Saiyan named Son Goku? Goku looked surprised. Huh? Yeah, that's me. The Guardian continued, I knew it. You made quite an impression on us during the Tournament of Power. Goku scratched his head awkwardly and replied, I didn't know other beings actually remembered me. Thanks, I guess. The Guardian nodded and said, As a new god of destruction, I doubt you're familiar with the ancient stories of the universes. So allow me to explain a few things to help you understand what this meeting is truly about. The moment I learned that you had become the new god of destruction of Universe 6, I knew our paths would eventually cross. So, congratulations, Goku. In the very first panel, the leader of the Celestial Guardians continues explaining the current situation regarding Xeno's kingdom. He begins by telling everyone that they should listen carefully to what he's about to say, because what he's going to reveal is extremely important. Goku responds and says he'll try his best to listen, though he admits he's not sure if he'll actually understand everything. The Celestial Guardian then firmly tells everyone to pay close attention, because he won't repeat what he's about to say. He begins his explanation by revealing something truly ancient. In the beginning of time, existence itself was very different from how it is now. Everything was just an endless void, an infinite nothingness. Then, powerful beings known as deities were born. They possessed the incredible ability to create and destroy in an instant. There were 7 of them in total, and one of those was none other than Lord Zeno. Surprised, Goku interrupts and says, Wait, what? But as far as I know, Zeno is the supreme ruler of everything, the strongest of all. Are you saying there are beings even stronger than Lord Zeno? The Celestial Guardian replies, As I expected, this kind of information is new to you. But yes, what you know about Zeno is only a small part of a much greater truth. He continues explaining that Zeno is indeed the god of all, but only within his own realm. The 12 universes that we know of actually belong to just one single realm, known as the Zeno realm. Beyond that, there exist 6 other realms, each ruled by their own supreme deity. Goku, shocked by this revelation, says, So you're saying that the 12 universes are just a small part of something much, much bigger? The Celestial Guardian confirms, Exactly. The 12 universes are only one section of the Zeno realm, and the Zeno realm is only one of the 7 realms that exist in the entire multiverse. Each realm has its own mortals, divine hierarchy, and ruling god, just like Lord Zeno, but there is one major exception. Curious, Goku asks, Exception? What do you mean by that? The Celestial Guardian explains, Long before we existed, there was a supreme deity named Zarat who was consumed by greed. He wasn't satisfied ruling only his own realm. He wanted to expand his dominion and rule over everything. At that time, the Zeno realm was considered the weakest among the 7 realms. Because of that, Zarat and his armies planned to attack it first. Goku then says, But wait, Lord Zeno can erase anything in an instant. That means Zarat wouldn't stand a chance against him, right? The Celestial Guardian replied and said, It's not that simple. Zeno's power of erasure only works within his own realm. He can't use that ability on beings who come from other realms. He then explained that while Zeno is indeed powerful, his strength is limited to his own domain. He has no combat skills or experience in battle, which means that against someone like Zarat, who possesses unimaginable abilities, Zeno would stand little chance in a direct fight. A great war once erupted between Zarat's forces and the Zeno realm. The battle was so intense that it shook the balance of multiple realms. But with the combined help of other kingdoms and realms, Zeno's realm was eventually able to drive back Zarat's invasion. In the end, Zarat was sealed away, and his divine power was split into 5 extremely powerful beings, known as the primordial beasts. Each of these beasts possessed strength far beyond that of a god of destruction, and all 5 were hidden deep within the Zeno realm, where no one could find them. At this point, Goku spoke up and asked, Wait, are you saying that in other universes, there are beings even stronger than the angels, and even Lord Zeno himself? Lord Beerus, did you know about this all along? Beerus casually replied, Of course I did. I already knew about all of this before the Celestial Guardian mentioned it. But then Liquier interrupted and said, You liar! Don't act like you knew everything from the start. Ignoring their argument, the Celestial Guardian continued his explanation. He said, After Zarat was sealed, chaos broke out within his own kingdom. Disagreements and conflicts arose among the remaining gods. Eventually, a group of powerful deities from the Zarat realm, known as the Celestial Mages, launched an attack on the Zeno realm. Their mission was to search for the primordial beasts and use them to resurrect Zarat. This marked the beginning of another great war. However, this time, the Zeno kingdom was much stronger than before. To counter the Celestial Mages, all the gods of destruction from every universe were forced to unite their powers and fight as one. Through their combined efforts, they successfully defeated the mages and sealed them away once again. Gin then spoke up and said, "Stop being so modest, Picken. According to history, you were one of the key figures responsible for the Xeno realm's victory in that war." Hearing this, Goku was amazed and turned to Picken saying, "So that means you're really strong, Mr. Picken?" Picken simply replied, "Well, yes, I did play an important role in that battle, that's true, but now isn't the time to talk about the past in detail." Then Belmont joined in, saying, "All right, enough with the storytelling. Let's get straight to the point. Why did you come here in the first place?" Picon's expression turned serious as he replied, "To tell you the truth, the Celestial Mages have already broken the sealing technique that was keeping them imprisoned." Everyone, all the gods of destruction, was shocked by what they heard. Arak immediately asked, "Wait, what do you mean? Weren't those mages under your constant surveillance?" Picon nodded and said, "That's true, but recently they attacked the Guardians during a time of weakness. Because of that, our master, Anzen, was killed, and that's what ultimately led to the escape of the Celestial Mages." Beerus then spoke and said, "Wait a second. During the time your master was at his weakest? That sounds like someone betrayed him. Could this mean that your group can't be trusted either, Picken?" Picken replied seriously, "You're right. Everyone has been thinking the same thing, that someone might have infiltrated the celestial world. Right now, even we, the Celestial Guardians, can't fully trust one another." Goku, confused, asked, "Hold on, can someone please explain to me what exactly the celestial worlds are, and who are the Celestial Guardians?" Before Picken could answer, Beerus cut him off and said, "Quiet, Goku. Nobody here has time to explain everything to you right now." Then Ewan spoke up and said, "There's something I don't understand, Picken. Didn't you say that the Celestial Mages escaped a long time ago? If that's the case, why are you only telling us about this now?" Picken calmly explained, "After the Celestial Mages escaped, we completely lost track of their whereabouts. We didn't want to cause panic among the other kingdoms without solid proof of where they went. We tried to trace their energy signatures quietly before the news spread, but eventually, we discovered something shocking. The Celestial Mages are currently within the Xeno realm, and they have already gone to planet Zunou." He continued, "Zunou, the omniscient being who lives in Universe 7, has been captured by them. And to make matters worse, the Super Dragon Balls have been destroyed. There's no doubt about it. This was the work of the Celestial Mages. This is an act of war." Hearing this, Quitella turned angrily toward Beerus and shouted, "Beerus, you fool! How could you let something like that happen?" Beerus quickly defended himself. "Hey, I had no idea. The universe is enormous. How was I supposed to know this was happening?" Then Goku suddenly spoke up and said, "Wait, if they destroyed the Dragon Balls in my universe, does that mean they might also come for the Dragon Balls on my planet?" Pican responded firmly, "We don't have time to argue about who's to blame right now. What's important is that we act fast. Since the Celestial Mages have captured Zunou, it'll be much easier for them to locate the primordial beasts using his knowledge." He paused for a moment and then revealed something even more alarming. "We can't allow that to happen. 2 of the primordial beasts are located in Universe 7. One is in Universe 8, another in Universe 11, and the last one in Universe 6. I need the gods of destruction from these universes to immediately begin searching for the beasts within their domains." Heles then asked, "But what about the universes that don't have any primordial beasts? What should we do?" Pican replied, "I recommend that those universes return home and prepare for whatever may come. Right now, the angels are holding a meeting with the Grand Priest to discuss the current crisis in Xeno's kingdom. Every universe is vulnerable at this point, so it's best for you all to regroup and strengthen your defenses." Beerus agreed and said, "All right then, let's not waste any more time. Everyone, do what needs to be done." Before they could leave, Picken gave one final warning, a quick word of caution. "To the gods of destruction who will be searching for the primordial beasts, be on high alert. There's a chance that you might become the targets of the Celestial Mages themselves. Prepare yourselves for a fierce battle." With those words, all the gods of destruction quickly departed, each heading back to their respective universes determined to find and protect the primordial beasts before the Celestial Mages could strike again. The first panel opens in a mysterious place known as the Forgotten Dimension of the Multiverse, which, as it turns out, is actually the secret hideout of the Celestial Mages. Here, a mysterious being speaks, saying that the creature they're keeping still hasn't awakened. Then we see Tyra, who angrily scolds Brajan, saying, "Brajan, you're useless. What did you even do to him?" Brajan quickly defends himself, saying he didn't do anything wrong. The scene then shows what really happened during the time Brajan kidnapped Zunou. Apparently, Zunou was accidentally hit by Brajan's pet tiger, which caused him to be thrown across the area and hit his head on a post, knocking him unconscious. The story then returns to the present time. Brajan explains that his pet just wanted to play, but humans are just too fragile. Tyra snaps back at him, saying, "You fool. Because of you, our enemies will have more time to prepare a plan. Especially since Zunou isn't available right now, we need his information to locate those beasts." At that moment, a mysterious being arrives and announces that Zunou has already regained consciousness. He tells Tyra and Brajan to handle the situation and do whatever it takes to get the information from Zunou. The scene then shifts to a room where Zunou is currently being held. Tyra steps forward and says, "You already know what we want from you, right?" Zunou calmly replies, "Of course. You want to know the location of the beast, don't you?" Tyra answers, "Exactly." Then Tyra points a weapon at Zunou and orders him to speak, to reveal the locations. But Zunou refuses. Shocked, Tyra demands, "What did you just say?" Zunou smirks and says, "I said no. I won't speak unless I receive a kiss from a beautiful person." Furious, Tyra yells, "What? Do you even know who you're talking to? Aren't you afraid of death?" Zunou then replies calmly, "There was a time when I felt fear, when a mortal named Frieza once threatened me. That disappointment in myself pushed me to train my mind to overcome fear. So now, threats don't work on me anymore. And if you kill me, you'll never get the information you're looking for." But then, Tyra immediately prepared herself and said, "So that's how it is, huh? Fine then. I'll just have to teach you a lesson myself." However, before she could even make a move, Brajan quickly stepped in and pushed her back to stop her. Brajan spoke up, saying, "Let me handle this. I'll be the one to give him that kiss. I actually like people with big cheeks." Zunou, looking annoyed, immediately said, "Stay away from me. I don't accept kisses from someone who looks like a toad." Hearing that, Brajan got furious and shouted, "What did you just call me? A toad? How dare you? It's not my fault if trash like me is the only one available here." Before Brajan could do anything reckless, Tyra stopped him and said, "Enough. I'll take care of this myself. Let me play with him for a bit." At that moment, Tyra removed her armor, revealing her well-shaped and alluring figure. She looked straight at Zunou and asked teasingly, "So, what do you think? Is this good enough for you?" She then leaned in and kissed Zunou. After that, Tyra asked again, "Well, did you enjoy what I just did?" Zunou replied calmly, "That's already 2 questions." This made Tyra irritated. "Are you mocking me right now?" she snapped. Zunou replied, "I'm not joking. You've already asked 2 questions." Tyra frowned and said, "Wait, even that simple question counts?" Zunou nodded, saying, "Yes, which means your 2 questions are already used up." At that moment, another mysterious being appeared and said, "You two really are amateurs. Let me show you how to properly extract information from someone like him." Tyra and Brajan both looked at the figure and asked, "How?" The mysterious being then prepared a magical technique and immediately cast it on Zunou. Within seconds, Zunou's surroundings shifted. He suddenly saw countless beautiful women surrounding him, making him smile uncontrollably with joy. The mysterious being smirked and said, "See, no one's better at this than me." Meanwhile, the scene transitions back to Pikan. After the reunion of the 12 gods of destruction, Pikan assigned a special mission to each of them. He ordered all the gods to return to their respective universes to search for the primordial beasts. Some were also tasked with preparing their universes for the upcoming threat that loomed over all realities. At this point, Pikan is seen traveling together with Beerus. Beerus then asks, "Of all the universes, why did you choose to come to Universe 7? Pikan answers, "Because I believe this universe needs the most attention right now. Zunou is here, some of the Dragon Balls are here, and of course, 2 of the primordial beasts are also located here. This will likely be the first place the Celestial Mages will strike, and since Universe 7 won the Tournament of Power, there's a high chance they'll focus their efforts here. Plus, this universe is my home, the one I used to protect." Beerus looks at him curiously and says, "You used to protect this universe? What do you mean by that?" Pikan responds, "Yes, I was the very first god of destruction of this universe. Didn't Mr. Terran or Whis, who was once my master, ever tell you that?" Beerus looks thoughtful and says, "Now that you mention it, your name and your face do seem familiar. I just couldn't place where I'd seen you before." Pikan then says, "It's better that you become more aware of your universe's history. Knowing the past of the gods is basic knowledge, something every deity should understand." Beerus smirks and says, "You really sound just like Master Terran." Pikan then spoke again and said, "Terran once told me that you've always been stubborn." Hearing that, Beerus was surprised. "Wait, what? Master Terran told you that? About me? That's impossible. You died long before I was even born." Pikan replied calmly, "It seems you're not fully aware of the truth, Beerus. Your master Terran was just like me. We were both slain by the corrupted divinity. Because of that, our souls were sent to the celestial world, and that's where I met him again in the afterlife. He eventually became a celestial guardian, just like I did. We've been together ever since." Beerus looked a bit saddened and asked, "I see. Then how is he doing now?" Pikan's expression turned serious. "He's gone. he said quietly. He died during our last major battle, just like what usually happens to most Guardians. Beerus was shocked by what he heard. He stayed silent for a moment and finally said, I understand. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to Universe 6, where Goku has just returned to his planet. He's deep in thought, remembering what Mr. Picken told them earlier, that one of the powerful beasts is located in his universe, and that evil gods might soon arrive to take it. Should I fight them? Goku wondered to himself. He immediately looked around for Angel Vados, but she was nowhere to be found. She's still not here, Goku said aloud. Then what should I do now? I don't even know where this beast is hiding. And honestly, I barely know anything about my own universe. Thinking quickly, Goku decided, I'll go find Leah. She might be able to help me. He prepared to use instant transmission, but realized he didn't know exactly where to go. Then he remembered that Vados once taught him something about this. She told him that as long as he could picture a person clearly in his mind, he could instantly locate them. The story then flashes back to that training session from the previous day. During that time, Goku was training under Angel Vados and asked, how much time do I need before I can surpass Beerus's power? Vados replied, listen carefully, Lord Goku. You need to focus more on your own universe instead of comparing yourself to others. Goku scratched his head and said, sorry, it's just that this kind of training gets a bit boring sometimes. I got distracted, but I promise I'll listen seriously now. Vados sighed but smiled a little. All right then, let's make things simpler so you can understand faster. She then created an illusion-like image in front of Goku, showing the structure of their universe. She explained, at the very bottom lies the Makai world, the kingdom of demons. Above that is the mortal world, where humans and mortals live. Above the mortal world is the cosmos, also known as the other world, a realm that includes hell, paradise, the Kaio planets, the Emma Palace, the Serpent Path, and the Kaio Grand Lord's planet. Rotating around this great structure is the Supreme Planet, where the gods of creation and other divine beings reside. And beyond the globe, between the cosmos and the mortal world, exists the Destruction Planet, which is where we currently stand. The scene then returns to the present, where Goku finally recalls everything that Vados told him. At this point, Goku began preparing to use instant teleportation. He remembered what Leah once told him, that their planet existed outside the main globe of the universe. That means, Goku said to himself, I just need to ignore the energy signatures coming from within the globe and focus only on what's beyond it. He noticed that the Kai dimension itself seemed to be constantly shifting and moving, but he brushed it off, saying, no big deal, I can handle this. Within just a few seconds, Goku managed to sense Leah's ki, and without hesitation, he activated instant teleportation. The scene then shifts to the Supreme Planet, where Leah was in the middle of an intense training session with Kiburo. Leah shouted, I'm not done yet, as she charged forward to strike, but just as she launched her attack, Goku suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and Leah's powerful strike hit him directly. Shocked, Leah froze for a moment, while Goku, slightly singed, said in frustration, what was that for? Were you trying to kill me or something? I thought this was supposed to be a peaceful place. Kiburo, surprised as well, asked Goku, what are you doing here? Why did you suddenly appear on our planet? Goku quickly explained, I came here because I need your help. It's really important. The scene then shifts again, this time to Beerus's planet, where Vegeta was training intensely. Vegeta said to himself, I can feel it. My Hakai power keeps getting stronger and stronger. But before he could continue, two powerful energies suddenly appeared, and he was shocked to see Beerus and Picken arrive before him. Beerus smirked and said, well, look at you. You're already up and about? You were on the brink of death the last time I saw you. I even left you in Whis's care. Vegeta replied, yeah, I recovered completely after I regained consciousness, so I decided to continue my training. Beerus rolled his eyes and said, you Saiyans really never learn. As Vegeta looked closely, he began to sense an incredibly strong Kai radiating from the person beside Beerus. It's stronger than Lord Beerus himself, he thought in surprise. Beerus then said, Vegeta, this is Pican. We've got a bit of a problem in our universe right now. Pican looked around and asked, is Mr. Whis not here? He's probably still in that angel meeting. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to see him again. Vegeta, still curious, asked, wait, you know Whis? Pican nodded. Of course. I used to be one of Whis' disciples. In fact, I was the first god of destruction of this universe. Vegeta raised an eyebrow. The first god of destruction? Seriously? Before the conversation could go any further, Beerus interrupted, all right, enough small talk. What's the plan now, Pican? What are we supposed to do? Pican answered, I'm planning for the two of us to retrieve Janemba. Right now, that being is under the care of a mortal from this universe, Frieza. I'd like us to visit him together and convince him to cooperate. Hearing that name, Vegeta's expression darkened. That Frieza, he must be up to no good again, he thought. Beerus then said, "What about the pod that's attached to Majin Buu's half, the one still within this universe?" Pikkon waved his hand and replied, "Don't worry about that. A reliable guardian has already taken that pod and will deliver it safely to the celestial world. I'm certain it's in good hands." Finally, the scene transitions once more, this time to the Magma Planet, where we see one of the Celestial Guardians who has just successfully captured one of the primordial beasts. The first panel opens with Beerus, Pikkon, and Vegeta still in the middle of a serious conversation. Beerus speaks first, commenting that Pikkon seems to be interfering too much. He reminds Pikkon, "Didn't you say earlier that someone would come to retrieve the pad? And that you should act freely? But if someone else is already assigned to take it, then why are you still tagging along with me? I thought I was supposed to be one of those searching for the primordial beast, just like Goku." Vegeta, silently thinking to himself, realizes that Goku must already be aware of the current situation, and likely all the gods of destruction know about it too. Then, Pikkon explains his side. He says they deliberately chose not to place any primordial beast within Universe 7. According to him, as he mentioned earlier, this planet would be the first target of the Celestial Mages, who have other secret motives. To minimize problems, they decided to keep the beasts away from here. Unfortunately, he adds, the god of destruction of Universe 7 is careless and refuses to take responsibility for his duties. That's why retrieving Janemba and Majin Buu has now become a matter of universal security. Beerus just smirks and replies sarcastically, "You know, Pikkon, I actually liked you better before I found out who you really were." After saying that, Beerus suddenly hands Vegeta a pair of earrings. Vegeta looks at them in confusion and asks, "What are these for?" Beerus explains, "Those earrings are a symbol that you've now gained the ability to use destruction power. From this point on, you'll represent me." Pikkon, surprised, immediately questions him, "Why are you doing this? What are you planning?" Beerus answers calmly, "Vegeta will go with you, Pikkon. He'll assist you with your mission." Still unconvinced, Pikkon argues again, "What do you mean by that? You're entrusting such an important task to a mortal? What kind of negligence is this?" But Beerus just shrugs and says, "Didn't you just call me negligent earlier? So why are you so surprised now? Besides, times have changed. It's my universe, and I'm the god of destruction here, so I'll do whatever I want. And right now, what I want is to get some sleep." Pikkon sighs and says, in disappointment, "You really are pathetic." Before heading off, Beerus turns to Vegeta and says, "I'm leaving this to you, Vegeta." At that moment, Vegeta puts on the earrings that Beerus gave him. Then he asks, "You mentioned Frieza is involved in this, right? What's your plan for tracking him down?" Pikkon admits honestly, "To be honest, I have no idea how to locate Frieza right now. The last time I saw him was on Zunou's planet. But since you're already familiar with Frieza, maybe you can sense his ki." Vegeta replies, "I'm sure Frieza is far, far away at this point. I could reach him using instant teleportation, but I can't sense his energy from this great distance." Pikkon nods and says, "Don't worry, I can help you with that. For now, focus your energy and try to sense Frieza's Kai. I'll assist you in finding him." At this moment, Vegeta immediately began to focus his energy, trying to sense Frieza's location. But just as he started concentrating, Pikkon suddenly placed his hand on Vegeta's shoulder. Vegeta looked surprised and asked, "Hey, what are you doing?" Pikkon calmly replied, "Relax, Vegeta. I'm using my ability to sharpen your sensing skills. With my help, you'll be able to detect Frieza's ki even from a much greater distance." Hearing that, Vegeta closed his eyes again and focused deeply, letting his energy flow. Within just a few seconds, he successfully sensed Frieza's Kai. Without wasting another moment, he immediately used instant teleportation, and the two of them were instantly transported to a distant planet called Planet Quinn. As they arrived, Vegeta looked around in confusion and said, "What is this place? Frieza isn't here. From what I know, he should be inside his spaceship right now." Pikkon responded, "A fierce battle could easily destroy that spaceship, which would put the Janemba pad in danger. That's why I chose to come to this planet instead. This is where Frieza was heading anyway, and it's the perfect place for a confrontation." Vegeta frowned and said in a slightly irritated tone, "So you interfered with my sensing ability and purposely brought us here instead? I don't like what you did." But Pikkon calmly explained, "Don't be angry, Vegeta. If Janemba were to awaken in the middle of a chaotic situation, you'd understand why I made this decision." Vegeta crossed his arms and replied, "I don't care about that. Since Frieza hasn't arrived yet, can you tell me what's really going on? This looks like a serious situation." Pikkon nodded and said, "You're right. This universe will soon become a battleground for enemies, and when that happens, you too will be affected. Let me explain everything to you." The scene then shifts to Universe 8, where we see Liquor, the god of destruction of that universe. He has just successfully captured one of the primordial beasts. Liquor smirked and said, "Those guardians were tough to convince. It took a lot of persuasion to make them entrust this beast to me." As he finally returned to his planet, a mysterious voice suddenly spoke out saying, "You sure took your time retrieving that thing, god of destruction. Liqueer's eyes narrowed, and he replied, "There's no need to hide. Show yourself." Within seconds, a figure appeared before him. It was none other than Tyra. Liqueer observed her carefully and thought to himself, "She doesn't seem to be emitting any ki at all, but I can still feel an overwhelming sense of danger from her presence." Tyra smiled slightly and said, "Liqueer, you're known as one of the most intelligent and hardworking gods of destruction of your generation. But even so, I'm sure you already know who I am, the goddess Queen of War from the Zarat Kingdom." Liqueer's expression darkened. "So, you're Tyra, the Grand Warrior Mage? You're one of the Celestial Mages, aren't you?" Tyra nodded. "That's right." Liqueer clenched his fists and said, "You've got a lot of nerve showing up in my universe, especially here, on my planet." Tyra replied calmly, "I didn't come here to offend you. Just hand over that beast and I'll leave quietly." But Liqueer shook his head. "That's not going to happen." And at that very moment, Liqueer's aura flared up as he prepared to face Tyra head-on, signaling the beginning of another intense battle. Meanwhile, the scene shifts back to planet Earth, where we see Oob desperately running for his life, being chased by a massive, terrifying monster. The creature roared loudly, shaking the ground as it pursued him. Just when it seemed like Oob had nowhere else to run, a powerful figure suddenly appeared and struck the monster head-on, sending it flying backward. That man was none other than Master Chappa. Chappa quickly turned to Oob and shouted, "Hurry, kid! You need to get out of here. That creature is too dangerous for you. It's that cursed barrel water. It's making you weaker. Next time, don't risk your life for something unnecessary. Your life is far more important than that water." But Ub, breathing heavily, replied, "I just wanted to help the people who are thirsty. I thought if I could bring back that water, they could drink." Chappa sighed and said, "I understand, Ub. You've got a kind heart. That strength of yours, it could bring prosperity to everyone, but you have to stay alive first." Before Chappa could finish, the monster suddenly charged at them again, catching both him and Oob off guard as it roared and lunged toward them. Chappa's eyes widened. "Wait a second, that thing's a mother!" he shouted. The creature launched a devastating attack directly toward Oob. In panic and fear, Oob instinctively raised his hands, and before he even realized it, he released a massive energy wave, far stronger than anything he'd ever done before. The blast shot out in an instant, striking the monster head-on and sending it crashing violently to the ground. Oob stared in shock, completely stunned by what he had just done. Did I do that?" he whispered to himself. Master Chappa, still recovering from the shock, looked at Oob and thought, "So it's true. This boy is special." He could feel it. There was something extraordinary about Oob. Despite being so powerful, the kid remained pure-hearted, innocent, and kind. But before they could even process what had happened, a mysterious voice suddenly echoed nearby. "Well, kid," the voice said coldly, "it would be such a shame if you were to die right here." Chappa immediately tensed up and shouted, "Who's there? Show yourself. You don't sound like someone to be trusted." Out of the shadows, a mysterious being emerged, its presence so sinister that even the air around them seemed to grow heavy. The being spoke again in an arrogant tone. "Leave, old man. I don't have time to waste fighting garbage like you." Chappa's expression turned serious. "Garbage, huh? Let's see if you can repeat that once I'm done with you," he growled. And without hesitation, he charged straight toward the mysterious being. But before he could even get close, the being simply raised a hand and said, "Don't come any closer. If I increase my power even slightly, you'll die instantly." And just as those words left its mouth, Chappa was suddenly thrown back, sent flying by an invisible force. He hit the ground hard, unable to understand what just happened. "Master Chappa!" Oob cried out, running to his side to check if he was okay. But before he could reach him, the mysterious being suddenly appeared right in front of Oob and grabbed his arm tightly. "Come with me," it said coldly. "You're coming with me, kid." Just then, in a burst of divine energy, Beerus suddenly appeared, blocking the being's path. His aura radiated with power as the ground trembled beneath them. The mysterious being looked at him, a faint smirk forming on its face. "Impressive," it said. "You managed to approach me without me even noticing. You must have hidden your ki very well." Beerus crossed his arms and replied in a calm but intimidating tone, "That's right, I am Beerus, the god of destruction of this universe. And don't worry, you don't need to be nervous." He then narrowed his eyes and said coldly, "Because what you want to happen is only just beginning." The first panel opens with a wide shot of Planet Quinn, a barren yet radiant world surrounded by a violet sky. The camera slowly pans down to reveal Vegeta and Pikkon, both standing amidst the rocky terrain, their auras faintly flickering in the wind. Vegeta crossed his arms and spoke with a serious tone. "I think I'm starting to understand what's happening here. But wouldn't it be easier if we just used the Super Dragon Balls to fix all of this? They're said to have no limits, right? They can grant any wish." Pikkon's expression darkened as he shook his head. "That would have been ideal, but our enemies destroyed the Super Dragon Balls. Because of that, none of the ordinary Dragon Balls can function either. They're all connected to the Super Dragon Balls. Without them, the rest are powerless." Vegeta's eyes widened in disbelief. What did you say? Are you telling me that even the Dragon Balls on Earth are no longer working? Piccon nodded grimly. That's right. We don't have time to talk about it now. Frieza is on his way. Vegeta smirked and clenched his fists. Good. Let him come. Just a little more and I'll end this once and for all, with a single wave blast. The scene then cuts to Frieza's spaceship, gliding silently through the cold void of space. Inside the dimly lit chamber, Frieza stood before a containment unit, staring intently at Janemba, who was sealed inside. Cooler approached him from behind, his voice calm but edged with curiosity. So, what exactly are you planning to do with that thing? Frieza glanced at him, his expression unreadable. I didn't expect things to get this complicated, he admitted, his voice cold. But I was wrong, which means it's time we used force. Cooler frowned. Are you sure about this, Frieza? You said yourself that creature's power surpasses even that of a god of destruction. Are you certain this won't backfire on us? Frieza gave a low, confident chuckle. I'm well aware of the danger of dealing with primordial beasts, he said, but Kikuno has been studying this one carefully. He's developed a special control necklace, far more advanced than the one used on Broly. With it, we'll be able to suppress Janemba's strength completely. Once we've harnessed his power, nothing in the universe will be able to stop us. Cooler nodded slowly, though hesitation lingered in his eyes. If that's what it takes, then so be it. Let's face him together. But we'll need to find a secure place to conduct the experiment. Before Frieza could respond, the entire ship suddenly shook violently, alarms blaring across the control room. The floor trembled beneath their feet as warning lights flashed red. Frieza's eyes narrowed. What was that? Kikuno, typing frantically on the control panel, shouted, Master Frieza, we're under attack. Someone's hit the ship. The monitor flickered, revealing the image of two figures floating outside, Vegeta and Piccon. Frieza clenched his jaw. That fool? Vegeta? What is he doing here of all places? Cooler stepped closer, smirking. Vegeta? Isn't he the Saiyan who once managed to defeat you? The last one with royal Saiyan blood? Frieza hissed in irritation. Yes, that's him. That insolent Saiyan came here to interfere with our plans. Cooler's grin widened. Then why don't we use this chance to eliminate him once and for all? Frieza thought for a moment, then nodded. You're right. Kikuno, where exactly are they now? Kikuno quickly replied, they're located within the Quinn planetary system, not far from our current position. Frieza turned to Cooler. Then it's settled. You and I will head there directly by flight. Kikuno, maintain a safe distance from the planet and stay on alert. If I call for assistance, I expect an immediate response. Kikuno bowed his head. Understood, Lord Frieza. I'll keep communications open and await your signal. And with that, Frieza and Cooler departed from the ship, their energy flaring as they raced through the stars toward Planet Quinn, where Vegeta and Piccon were already preparing for the coming clash. At that very moment, Cooler and Frieza swiftly traveled to Planet Quinn, determined to confront Vegeta face to face. The atmosphere was tense as they arrived, the planet's surface trembling slightly under their overwhelming aura. Vegeta stood firm, his piercing eyes locked on the two approaching figures. He spoke first, his tone sharp and filled with pride. So, the one you've brought with you, Frieza, he must also belong to your lineage, the race of Frieza and King Cold, isn't he? Frieza let out a chilling laugh, his tail flicking behind him as his red eyes gleamed with disdain. Vegeta, how disappointing it is to see you here. Tell me, he said mockingly, what could you possibly want from me this time? Before Vegeta could respond, Piccon stepped forward, his expression fierce and unyielding. He raised his voice, filled with righteous anger. Frieza, in the name of the Celestial Guardians, I command you to hand over Janemba to us. If you refuse, his aura flared violently, then we'll use force to take it from you. Frieza tilted his head slightly, amused. Celestial Guardians, you say? He sneered. So that's what those three fools guarding Janemba called themselves. They claim to be part of your so-called organization. If that's true, then perhaps you're nothing more than another insect under their command. Vegeta clenched his fists and took a step forward. Frieza, he said in a low, warning tone. You'd better choose your enemies carefully. That being, he nodded toward Piccon, was once a god of destruction, stronger even than Beerus himself, or perhaps stronger now than even you, Frieza. The color drained slightly from Frieza's face as he widened his eyes in disbelief. Stronger than a god of destruction? Stronger than Beerus? Impossible. That can't be true. Cooler turned toward his brother, irritation clear in his voice. What's the matter with you, Frieza? Don't disgrace our family name like this. We've both grown far more powerful than before. If we fight together, there's no way we can lose. But Frieza only shook his head, his expression dark and serious. You don't understand, Cooler. This is a battle we cannot win. For a brief moment, Vegeta's gaze softened. He seemed to recall something about Cooler, perhaps a memory of their past encounters. Meanwhile, Frieza's mind raced. Cooler still has no idea what the true power of a god of destruction is. He doesn't even comprehend the danger we're in right now. Frieza clenched his fists, making his decision. In situations like this, it's best to retreat while I still can. Forgive me, Cooler, but this is where we part ways. Then suddenly, Frieza shouted, "Linzur!" Almost instantly, Linzur appeared, ready to use instant teleportation. Without hesitation, he grabbed Frieza and teleported them both back to their spaceship. "Kikono!" Frieza barked as soon as they materialized inside. "Prepare for immediate departure. We're leaving this planet right now." And within seconds, the ship blasted off, disappearing into the cold void of space. Cooler stared at the sky where his brother had vanished and gritted his teeth. "You coward, Frieza!" he muttered angrily. Pikkon, still standing beside Vegeta, spoke next. "All we need is Janemba. It's better if we chase after Frieza and leave this one behind." But Vegeta stopped him. "No," he said firmly. "I'll stay here to face Cooler myself. You can track Frieza on your own. You already know his key signature, so you'll be able to find him without me. Don't interfere with this fight, Pikkon, or I won't forgive you." Pikkon smirked slightly, shaking his head. "You Saiyans really are all the same. Stubborn to the very end. Fine, I'll go after Frieza, but even if I return before you're done here, I won't interfere in your battle." With that, Pikkon launched into the sky and disappeared into the distance. Vegeta turned back toward Cooler, his aura beginning to flare. "Now then," he said with a cold, confident smirk, "forget about them for now. Because for the next few moments, I'm your only concern."